Good evening and welcome to ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Tonight we have track and field. Your hometown Dragons will be taking on the Rochester Adams Highlanders tonight in dual meet action. This is an OAA dual meet, and we're proud to bring it to you. I'm your announcer, Ian Locke, and we're about to get underway here. This little pregame action. Little background on both teams. What a weird spring. Been calling soccer matches and lacrosse this spring here for ONTV, and we're surprised that it's actually sunny for us today and dry, and we're just happy that the snow went away just long enough for us to get this meet in for the last home dual meet of the season for the Lake Orion Dragons. Now, the Lake Orion, let's start with the women's side of things. The Lake Orion women's team is on a tear again in 2018. They are the defending OAA Red champions from 2017 and defending regional champions from 2017, sending numerous track athletes to the state finals with, I believe, 3 all-state finalists. So this year in 2018, the team has picked up where they left off in 2017, rolling to an undefeated dual meet season so far, and they're looking to hopefully take down Adams today and continue their undefeated streak. They're loaded with talent and a tremendously balanced team, as we've seen in all of the OAA. Now, for Adams, they lost some really talented runners to graduation last year, especially in the distance. And we haven't really seen them in action. I believe they came off a 6th place finish. Let me double check that real quick. They had a big invitational over the weekend at Oxford on the 21st, I believe, of April. And let's see, Adams finished in 8th place for the women's team as Lake Orion took the title just a week ago. On the men's side, Adams comes in again, always a tough men's squad. You never know what you're going to get, especially in the distance. Again, they lost some athletes to graduation. Some of their top distance runners and middle distance runners moved on to the next level of education. So we've been poking around trying to find some times, but with this crazy spring, not a lot have been posted online. So we'll get our first look at them today as it happens. But Rochester Adams men finished 9th place at the Oxford Invitational, and the Lake Orion men, they took 2nd overall just behind Oak Park at the Oxford Invitational just a week ago. The Oxford men are defending OAA Red champs in 2017, and again, they're undefeated in 2018, loaded at the distance events, and really at the, middle distance. They have a nice solid core group of guys running middle distance, but where they really shine is the hurdles, with Skibicki and Mormon being just the stars of the OAA on those two fronts. So that's kind of a brief overview of where we're at today. Again, this is a dual meet, OAA Red action, and we're going to take a brief timeout. We will have all the varsity heats, just as a reminder, all the varsity heats of our races today. And we will not be covering any of the field events as they are taking place before our telecast and during the telecast. And before we go on, I want to thank all of our student volunteers helping us today. All of our camera operators and clock operators today are volunteers, an intern, and 3 high school students from LOHS. So great program at LOHS for the video program, and Mr. Smith over there runs a awesome program, just elected to the Hall of Fame of MIPA for the state of Michigan. So congratulations to them and those hardworking students, and we're lucky to have them with us on our crew today. And we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have our first event of the day, the 4x800 relay. So stay tuned. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Don't go away.
You'd do anything to take care of that spot on your lawn. So why not take care of that spot on your skin? If you're a man over 50, you're in the group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the cancer that kills 1 person every hour. Check your skin for suspicious or changing spots. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out what to look for. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
And we're back here at Dragons Stadium. The dual meet between Lake Orion Dragons and the Highlanders from Adams in this OAA matchup, track matchup. I'm your announcer, Ian Locke. Thank you for tuning in and checking out track and field. ONTV always likes to try to bring a variety of sports to the community here in Lake Orion, and this being our third track meet coverage over the last couple years. And it's a challenge, but with all of our great crew members here today, we'll bring it to you the best we can. And the crazy thing is we start in daylight and we end in darkness because we're here quite a while. But we're about ready to get underway here. The first event of the night is the 4x800 relay. And for Rochester Adams, they have 6 relays. Is that true? 1, 2, it looks like it. And in the other 2 lanes, Lake Orion will be sporting two relays. At least that's how it's listed on my sheet. We'll see how it goes when we get underway here. So each runner will be doing 2 laps of the track. Each runner that's a half a mile. And for the top A relay for Adams on the boys' side, boys always run first in even number years. Women run second in the odd number years. So this is even number years, so the guys will go first. We have Garland, Childers, Chamra, and Gross for the Varsity A relay. For Adams, it looks like Lake Orion is sporting 1 relay, and that will be Mulligan, McBride, Geim, and Malpin. But it looks like Ryan Mulcahy's down there. I copied Coach Stanford's list just before the race, so or just before the meet got underway, and we're about ready to start here. Stand by. Good, and we're underway, and the clock is rolling. We hope that's working for you at home. And Lake Orion is off with a host of Rochester Adams Highlanders. Oh, that's not Ryan Mulcahy. He looked like him from a while, but we have Mulligan, McBride, Geim, and Maupin. So right now they're organized in their lanes as they go down that back stretch, approaching the 200-meter mark of their first lap of this 4x8. And Lake Orion is in lane 1. And I believe the Adams A relay would be in lane 2 or 3. And you can see a pack of 3 starting to separate themselves from the field. And that's a leadoff runner for Lake Orion. I hope that is Mulligan. And Garland for Adams. And I believe we'll call it, I'll stop guessing. But it is a race so far after the first 400. Dragons in the lead and setting the pace. Pack of runners following behind. This is a full contingent. This is a rarity, having all 8 lanes filled with a 4x800. But it's good for the coaches for Adams to get their guys out there and race experience. And now Adams is making a move on the backstretch. Lake Orion's filling in nicely behind. Nice crowd here on hand for the meet. It is chilly. It's nice and bright and sunny, and it looks pretty warm, but it is not. We're in the 50s, low 50s. We'll be touching the 40s as the sun sets behind us. Wind's coming out of the north pretty good. You can the American flag on the flagpole is almost standing completely stiff, and the lead runner for Lake Orion is coming in strong, stretching it out. He's got a nice lead coming in for the exchange. And the Lake Orion exchange is clean, and they're on their way. Adams exchange is also clean, and they're on their way. The field is catching up from behind. Nice group of guys coming in here for their exchanges. Lake Orion is stretching the lead out. Again, for Lake Orion, we have Mulligan, McBride, Geim, and Maupin. For Adams, Garland, Childers, Chamra, and Gross. Longtime coach Stan Ford. Want to say thank you publicly for giving me these rosters just before the meet, and it always helps having some information before you go on the air. Dragons coming to the 100-meter mark of the second leg, first lap. And they're stretching it out slightly, extending that lead just a little bit. Again, Lake Orion and Adams were kind of in the mix at the Oxford Invitational not too long ago. Lake Orion men finished in the runner-up slot behind Oak Park. And Adams was, I believe, finished 8th overall. Dragons here on the 4x8 second leg is stretching it out on that backstretch nicely. The other runners for Adams running strong here, near side on the home stretch here. Look like they possibly could be. Is possibly could be proper English there, Jack? I don't know. I got Jack here in the studio, in the booth with me, running our clock. So thank you for that. What are we at? 3:54 so far on the timer. And the second leg, we'll call him McBride. That's how it's listed. Really working hard to bring it home for the exchange for the Dragons. A relay. It does look like Geim's going to get it here. And the handoff is nice and clean and safe, and Drew Geim is off to the races. And Adams had a slight delay on their exchange as Chamra receives the baton for the Highlanders, and he's looking to close some ground on Lake Orion, who's extended their lead at the 300-meter mark. I don't know if you can hear it at home. The crowd's cheering him on. Our director down in the truck is Mr. Joey Tysick. I don't know if we can hear the crowd out there. I think we got a dead space. Of course, we have our microphone right where nobody is sitting. I know we could pop that up a little bit, Joey, see if we can get any cheers, anything at all. It's kind of funny. I've never had that happen before. Put a microphone up and there's nobody there to hear. Drew Geim coming in after his first 400. Maintaining the lead that they established at the exchange. Adams, tall order to catch up with Geim, and it looks like their third runner is Chamra's fading slightly, but you never know how they run that. The last 400. Again, this is the third runner in this 4x8. Lake Orion in the lead. Looking to lap the field there is Drew Geim on the back stretch. Lake Orion female track athletes down there, their fellow teammates cheering the guys on. Adams athletes as well, cheering on their teammates. Drew Geim approaching the 200-meter mark near the flagpole, lapping the field. And looks like the Highlanders are fading slightly as Geim increases his lead to almost just under 200 meters. And he's finishing strong here. Last exchange coming up. The anchor on this one is Mr. Maupin. And here's the exchange for Lake Orion. And they're off. Still in the lead. And almost a 100-meter lead on Adams. Adams A coming in, laboring. Looks like Chamra's cramping up. You never know what you're going to get with these cold temperatures. It started out nice. And exchange for the anchor leg for Adams. Dragons are already on the back stretch. Really stretching this one out. Big lead. Adams doing their best to catch up, and it looks like Gross, the anchor leg for Rochester Adams, is doing what he can to get his relay back in this one. But Maupin rolls past the 200-meter mark on his first 400. The final leg of this 4x8. The next events after this men's 4x8 will be the women's 4x8. Dragons in command as the anchor leg comes down the home stretch, finishing his 400. One more lap to go for the leader. And Adams closing some ground, cut it down to about 120 meters. I have listed as Gross, doing a nice job there in the white t-shirt. Hope we're getting all the images here for you guys. Track meets are logistic nightmares for camera operators and directors. Dragon anchor leg down that backstretch, approaching the 200-meter mark in the final 200 of this 4x8 for Lake Orion. And for scoring, only the first place in a relay will score. So you can really pile points up quickly in a dual meet if you take first in all of your dual meets. Here comes the anchor leg, Mr. Maupin, at the final 100 meters, and he's cruising in. Huge lead, 200-meter lead, about 150-meter lead. Cruising home. And the Dragons will take first place. Just like that. First race in the books for Lake Orion, and Adams is coming in. White t-shirt rolling down, it's Mr. Gross. Strong finish by Athens. He made up some ground. It was a nice run for the young man. And second place finish just now. Yep. And let's say the time was 8:42.22 for Lake Orion. And Adams is looking at a 9:02. And we still have competitors out on the course. I believe all the anchor legs should be underway here. This guy's coming along. Hope you're enjoying our finish line camera. That's a new addition to the arsenal here at ONTV. We used that back at the regional meet just a year ago, and it worked out great. We brought it out to the regular season. Relay B for Adams finishes, I believe. Competitors still working hard out here, getting their runs in. And their teammates are still cheering them on. It's good to see the experienced runners cheering on their teammates as these young athletes develop through their high school track careers. Still rolling along this 4x8. Lake Orion did take the win, though, again in 8:42. I'll look up some times here to see how that compares to what they did just a week ago. Sun keeps poking or hiding behind the clouds and poking its way through again. It's teasing you. But it is chilly out here at the Dragon Stadium tonight. Adams relays again continuing to finish here. Third place relay rolling in for the finish. Third, fourth, and fifth. I believe we have 1 and 2 still out there. Yes, we do. 2 competitors still on the track. Last 2 runners to finish up here in this 4x8. And let's do some statistical looking here. Okay. Nice strong kick here by the young man from Adams to finish his 4x8. Nicely done, and I believe one more coming into the home stretch. Checks his watch one last time for his split, and that's it. That concludes the 4x8 for the men. We're going to take a brief break as the ladies get set for their 4x8. I don't believe we're going to have a full track, but we shall see. This is ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Stay tuned. And we're back for the dual meet here, Athens versus Lake Orion High School here at Dragon Stadium. The Lake Orion men won the first event, the 4x800 relay, in impressive fashion. And we're about ready to get underway here for the ladies, the 4x8. And I don't believe we have 8. Well, we might. 1, 2, 3. Looks like 3 or 2 relays for Lake Orion. And potentially 2, 3 for Adams. Let me dig up the paperwork here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It says 5, but I don't think we're going to do 5 on the ladies' side of Adams. 1, 2, 3, We may. So let's go over it. The Varsity A is Iris Meach, Alexa Mathis, Lauren Mulcahy, Phoebe Gleason. And I believe and we're underway here. And I do believe this matchup for Lake Orion's A relay is the first pairing of these 4 on the season. And the Lake Orion B is Brianna Skibicki, Rihanna Yokozawa, Morgan White, and Emma Geim. And the 4x8 A relay for Adams is Josen, Salden, Poloski, and Desi. And right out of the gate, Adams is out to a huge lead over the Dragon A relay with their leadoff runner, Iris Meach. Adams at the 200-meter mark. Dragons following just slightly. Adams looking very strong in the opening leg of this relay. Let's take a look at some results of these guys over the last couple weeks to see if we have a 4x8 for Adams. We have a potential target time looking very strong is Josan. Hope I'm pronouncing her name properly. Dragons A relay currently in 3rd place. Iris Meach crossing the start line there on her first leg. 1 more to go, but Adams is out front big in this one. Rochester Adams solid in the 4x8. They just ran a 5:59.08 up at the Oxford Invitational. Good for 4th place overall. Ava Josen, Ali Solden, Brianna Poloski, and Maddie Desi. Those are the current runners here tonight, and they're aiming for below 10 minutes. So they are flying, to say the least. Iris Meach doing her best to put in a solid time for this 4x8 A relay for the Dragons. But it is in solid hands here with the leadoff runner, Josen, looking to do the first exchange here for Adams. Very solid relay indeed. Here's the exchange, safe relay, and the exchange is off. Second runner is Solden, Ali Solden. Strong 800 runner, you can tell right there. Iris Meach coming in for the first exchange to her teammate here on the 4x8. Dragon A relay, good exchange, nice and safe. Alexa Mathis is off to the races for the Dragons. Brianna Skibicki for Lake Orion is coming in for the exchange for the relay B. Hands off to Rena Yokozawa, international exchange student here at Lake Orion High School. Adams out to a big lead off to the back stretch. Actually, they're coming around their B relays in the back stretch. Their home, or the lead here is coming to the 100-meter mark. That is Solden. Nicely done, very strong. Lake Orion's relay from Oxford Invitational was a 9:36.64. It was a school record. They are not running that combination today. Choosing to spread out some of those runners in different events. Just part of the strategy of track and field. Different relays are made up of different individuals depending on the situation. And there's a big invitational coming up on Saturday at Waterford Mott Relays. Always an exciting event. A lot of top teams coming to that one. Lake Orion will be taking part in that as well. But what can you say? Adams, a very impressive second leg by Solden for Rochester Adams. Dragons trying to do their best to make up some of that time. Second leg for the varsity is Alexa Mathis. Adams about 200 meters or 100 meters ahead of the A relay for Lake Orion. Right now, Adams racing the clock. A lot of the times you're trying to get relays qualified for the regionals, or try to tweak them ready to go for the regional events. Regionals, if you don't know, the only way you can really qualify for state in track and field is via the regional meet. So you have to be ready to go with your athletes in the proper order and of what you're planning to do by the time regionals hits, and they have to perform well as Adams A exchanges to the third runner, and that's Pulaski, sporting the leggings and the long sleeves. I don't blame her. You, Jack? No, he's shaking his head no. What are we looking at in time? 5:09 so far for Adams. Dragon A relay coming in. Mathis looking to exchange, coming down the home stretch here for Lake Orion. Pulaski for Adams on the back stretch, way out front. Lauren Mulcahy on the exchange. I wonder if some of these, this is their first varsity 4x8, so good for them to be called up by Coach Keith and Coach Dave Hudson to have the chance to run a varsity A relay. That's always a good sign. A vote of confidence by the coach. Lake Orion's B relay hands off, and that is Morgan White on her way. Adams A coming through now down the home stretch. Pulaski in the leggings and the long sleeve shirt. I believe this is her first 400. She's got one more lap to do. This is a grueling event. I don't know. It's not one I would choose to run, that's for sure. Middle distance. They call it middle distance. Anything longer than 10 feet, I call it long distance. Adams way out front. Dragons coming down to the 100-meter mark here in the home stretch here, and that is Mulcahy. Nice strong run by Mulcahy. Her brother Ryan is also a very strong distance and middle distance runner for Lake Orion. You'll see him in the mile and the 32 potentially tonight. And Ryan Mulcahy won the mile at the Oxford Invitational with an impressive time and I believe a career best. Adams coming around. There, number 3, Pulaski coming in. One more exchange for the Athens A relay, rolling in at 7:22 so far at the 100-meter mark. Brianna Pulaski coming in very strong, nice long stride. They know they have this one in hand, but you always want to have a strong performance again. Like you said, you get a baseline for regionals. Anchor leg off for Rochester Adams. That's Desi. Maddie Desi on her way, lapping the B relay for Lake Orion. Lake Orion A relay looks like they're lapping one of the Adams relays here as Mulcahy comes into the final 100 for her. For her last 400 in this relay leg. And the anchor for Lake Orion is lining up now. That is Phoebe Gleason. Nice strong finish by Mulcahy here in the 4x8. Dragon exchange, nice and safe and secure, and Gleason is off to the races. About 200-meter lead here for Rochester Adams. We knew they were good, but we didn't know they were very, very good. Barring a dropped baton here, which is rare, especially with the distance runners. They know what they're doing. They know their pace. Adams looks like they're going to take this one here in the opening event in this dual meet here at Lake Orion High School. Again, all the other events we'll be covering. We're going to do the varsity races, all the scoring heats. Desi passes the finish mark onto her second 400. Nice pace, nice strong run. 9:11 so far. I believe they finished just under 10 minutes, so it was 9:59 at the Oxford Invitational under a little bit better conditions. It was nice and comfortable. It was 66 and sunny. No wind to be had at the Oxford track, just up the road here, Lapeer Road. Here comes Phoebe Gleason for Lake Orion A relay on the inside lane, lane 1, setting her pace nicely. Rochester Adams still with a 200-meter lead and looking strong. Final kick should be coming in for Desi. Maddie Desi coming around that corner. We'll see it. She's starting to kick in. We'll see the big kick at about the 100-meter mark. Looking for a solid time here. They're just over the 10-minute mark. They're about 10:06.78. Not going to get the. It's difficult to go for a school record or a best time on the season when you have competition that is not really next to you. So here comes Athens on the win. Nicely done by Athens A on the W. Unofficial 10:23.75. Nice time for Athens. Lake Orion B relay rolling in. Lake Orion B relay consisted of Skibicki, Yokozawa White, and Emma Geim. Here comes the Dragons A relay at the 100-meter mark, looking to finish strong as well. They're about 10:56, approaching 11 minutes. Kick here for Phoebe Gleason for the Dragons. Finishing strong as she passed an Athens runner. Nice strong finish for Gleason. As the Lake Orion A relay finishes, roughly, what was the time there? 11:15.67. And we still have 3 Athens relays out on the track and the Dragon B relay. Emma Geim on the backstretch there doing a nice job. And some of the names of these other relays, I'll just read them down the line. We have Lundquist, Patty, Francis, Magruder, Josie Greats, Ryba Collier, and Martin, Scardy, Makanu, and Kovaleski. All the female competitors for Adams on this 4x8. Hurdlers are starting to come out on the track now as this race concludes. Dragons B at the 100-meter mark coming in. Look to finish strong. Emma Geim doing her best to fight through the very difficult 800 meters. And the finish for the Dragons. Dragon B relay. Geim finishes in. All right, I don't know if we get a time. Still going. Clock's still ticking. Well, let's step away here while the hurdles get set in place. And we'll have the 110 high hurdles right after this short timeout. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports, Dragon Field. Stay tuned.
Today, a new creature walks among us, terrorizing innocent citizens. Until this threat can be contained, we must all be on the lookout for the dreaded digital deadwalkers.
Dude!
They're not looking out for you.
Engage!
A public service safety message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep everyone well connected with strong, healthy bones.
And welcome back to ONTV's coverage of Lake Orion Track and Field, the OA dual meet versus Rochester Adams. On to the second event, the 110 high hurdles. The men will be going first, and for Adams we have Rusniak, McKenzie, Tuscany, Devuru, Jones, and Santangelo. Love that last name, Santangelo. For the guys on the Lake Orion side, we have Thomas Mormon, Tyler Skibicki, Yonkers, and Duffy. Thomas Mormon was a double winner in the 110 and 300-meter hurdles at the Oxford Invitational in impressive fashion. But his teammate Tyler Skibicki is one to watch out for, too. He is, along with Mormon, one of the best in all of the OAA at this event. In fact, going into the finals of the 110 of the Oxford Invitational, Skibicki had the top qualifying time rolling into the finals. So the Dragons are very stacked. Stacked indeed at the hurdling. Skibicki, I believe, a senior, and Mormon, a junior. So there's the whistle. We'll be underway here momentarily. Referee calls them to their mark. Just waiting for the gun here in this very quick race. Again, Rusniak, McKenzie, Tuscany, Devereaux, Jones, and Santangelo for Adams, and they're off. Skibicki off to the early lead, but Mormon coming on strong. It's Mormon in the lead so far in lane 1, Skibicki in lane 3. 1 and 3. Mormon's going to get Skibicki just a bit. 1-2 for Lake Orion. Third place for Rochester Adams. I'm assuming that's Rusniak. I don't want to guess, but we didn't have lane assignments. I can call the Lake Orion guys because I know them by sight. Nice event there by the 110 hurdles. Mormon takes it. Skibicki close behind. Great competition between those two teammates. They just work well together. They're good competitors with one another. And a nice finish there for the Lake Orion Dragons. I'll talk to my director downstairs. Joey, do you want to do one more, or do you want to go to a break? Okay. All right, we're going to stick with the finals now. And so that was the finals there, scoring heat. So we're going to step away. We'll be back with the women's 100-meter hurdles right after this short timeout. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Dragon Track and Field. Stay tuned. And we're back. Dual meet action here at Dragon Stadium, ONTV coverage of track and field. I'm your announcer, Ian Locke. And want to welcome you for tuning into this one as we set up the, readjust the hurdles for the ladies. They are running next. And who is running for Adams? Let's take a peek. Be Grifka, Cohen, Moriarty, and Champagne. The 4 hurdlers for Adams. And for Lake Orion, the varsity, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. In the first heat. For the scoring, that's Maddie Eaton, Madeline Rogers, Sierra Curtis, and Abigail Karjala. So Maddie Eaton is the one to watch. She's the favorite in this event for Lake Orion, but you got to watch out for Sierra Curtis. The speedy freshman is a 2-time county champion in middle school. So very impressive on the hurdles, and the future for Lake Orion hurdles is in good hand with Sierra Curtis coming on board. And Maddie Eaton and her teammate, I believe Maddie was 3rd at the Oxford Invitational in this event. A lot of points scored by Maddie Eaton, and you're going to hear her name called several times today in a variety of events. She's one of the top runners here on this Lake Orion squad and is being courted by many a college to run for their programs after she's out. Now, she's only a junior, so we get her one more year, which is a great thing to have. And Madeline Rogers, her top seed coming in is a 1974. Maddie Eaton's is 15-1-3. So you can see Maddie's the one to throw in lane 3 for a potential W today. But nothing's a given in the hurdles. It's such a finicky sport. You never know what's going to happen. One small error and you could be disqualified if you don't make an attempt to jump over the hurdle. And Maddie experienced that at the Oxford Invitational during the 300-meter hurdles. The last hurdle of the day, some of her steps got off and didn't make it through, and it happens, even to the best of them. Whistle blows, referee calls them to the line. Again, Grifka, Cohen, Moriarty, and Champagne for Adams in the even number lanes, Dragons in the odd number lanes. Maddie Eaton in the middle, lane 5, I believe. Set, and here we go. And they're off. Looks like some movement at the start, but that's okay. Maddie Eaton out to a big lead. Looks like Sierra Curtis not too far behind. Maddie Eaton out big. Glides across that last hurdle. Oh, Sierra Curtis stumbles, recovers. Does she get second place? We'll see. I don't know. Curtis hit that last hurdle, and it slowed her mo down, and it looked like Adams may have gotten it, but we'll have to see. 1-2. Top time, Maddie was unofficial at 14.86. Second place, 16.71. So we'll have to see. It was too close to call to try to get a second number on there. So we'll see how that one comes out in the final tally at the end of the meet, but that was very close for Lake Orion. Like I said, very strong in the hurdling events, and Sierra Curtis was cruising to a number 2 finish, hit that last hurdle, and lost her momentum. That's it for the women's 100-meter hurdles. We're going to take a brief break, come back with the 100-meter dash men right after this short timeout. Stay tuned.
The United States Air Force has a proud history of leading our nation in embracing diversity. We've been reaching new heights for years by understanding it's our individual experiences which make us strong. You can share in this success by seeking opportunities to learn and grow as a member of a diverse team. We are the world's greatest Air Force, not because of what we do, but who we are. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
And welcome back to ONTV's coverage of track and field here on a sunny but chilly day. The wind has kind of died down a little bit. It's not as brisk as it was when we started the telecast. It is a tailwind for the sprinters and the hurdlers, so that's always a bonus. About ready to get underway for the 100-meter dash as the hurdles are removed from the track. And running the 100 meters, we'll call the first four for the varsity guys. It's Dufresne, Jackson, Jenkins, and Tenkel. For Lake Orion, we have, I hope I pronounced this right, Kanselik, Campbell, Freeman, and Abdul Rahim. So the Dragons, the sprints for the Dragons are not one of their strong events. Not one of their strengths, I should say, in 2018. They've had it in the past, but always graduating some fast guys. And, you know, the young contingent has to step up and learn the ropes of running the 100 meters. The whistle blows, meaning that the timers are ready, and so are we. Dragons, again, are in the even number lanes. Oh, they have them mixed up this time, so Adams is in the odd, Dragons in the even. And we have a full house here for the 100-meter dash. And they're on their way. Lake Orion in lane 2 coming out strong. Adams calling even. Boy, this is too close to call. I'm going to call Adams lane 1. And I'm not sure who that is. It's Dufresne if they did it in order of lane assignment. But it looked like Adams went 1-3. Dragons were close in second place, but that was too close to call. That was very tight. Any eyeballs from the truck down below, if you can offer any insight on that finish line camera, I'll take it. Yeah, it was fast, and it was quick. So what times are we looking at? So the first place finisher, whoever that may be, was 11.09. That's super quick. Again, unofficial, and we're doing it from an angle up here in the press box. So we're doing the best we can. National anthem being played across the way as everybody stands to honor the flag, and we will too. Just pause for the finish of the national anthem. National anthem being played by for the soccer match across the way, and always good to take a pause and reflect on how we got here as a nation and respect that national anthem and our flag. So that's the end of the 100 meters for the varsity heat. We're going to take a brief timeout. We'll be back with the women's varsity heat right after this. Stay tuned. And we're back here at Dragon Stadium, looking to move on to the 100-meter dash for the ladies. And the sprinters are getting ready, taking off their warm-up clothes, and it looks like our wind is back. A tailwind for these sprinters is always a little bonus to push you down the track slightly. Sprinters for the Dragons are Chantel Staley, Dominique McCarthy, Heather DeSamper, and Melissa Simons. Melissa Simons very good in the 100-meter hurdles, skipped it, and now she's running in the 100-meter dash. And so that's one to see. But Chantel Staley, her time is seated at the top of the sheet at 14:04. And the 100 meters participants for Adams is Grifka, Cohen, Moriarty, and Champagne. Whistle blows means that the timers are ready. And the ladies are coming to their mark. Dragons in the even number lanes and Adams in the odd. So full contingent here, full house here for this varsity heat. This is the scoring heat. Oh, false start by Adams and Lake Orion. I don't know who jumped first. I was kind of blinded by whoever is in that corner spot there. And they're going to call him back down to do it all over again. Some sports aren't as forgiving. You don't even get a false start. You jump, you're out. And we're underway. Melissa Simons out to a big lead, stretching it out, strong. Adams looking 2-3. Simons wins it easily. Adams takes 2-3 in the heat. First place for Lake Orion, second and third for Adams. Little timing mishap, so disregard those times. I don't think the ladies ran faster than the guys. So nice performance by Adams in that race. 2 scorers, only top 3 score points, just to let you guys know. That's it for the 100 meters. We're going to step away. When we come back, we'll have the 4x200 meter relay. Stay tuned.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
And we're back, about ready to get underway in the 4x200 meter relay. This is one, I like this event. It's exciting and it's a quick race, but not too quick. About ready to get underway here. Let's see, who do we have participating for Lake Orion? Knight, Fraser, Skibicki, and Koncielik. I hope I'm saying that right. My handwriting isn't the best. And that is the A relay. Dragons look like they're running 2 relays, and Adams is running 2 as well. Yes, Dragons look like they're running 3. And the white flag goes up on the far side of the track saying that they are ready. And we're waiting for the signal here on the near side by the start line. Looks like the Dragon A relay start in lane 3 will be Skibicki. And Lake Orion finished 7th at the Oxford Invitational at 1:35.50. Rochester Adams was 10th at 1:36.17. So not too far apart, just a second apart. So we'll see how this stacks up. And I know they have shuffled the lineups, but it just gives you kind of an idea of how close some of these relays are. The wind is still blowing out here, but the sun is shining. It's a nice blue sky with some big white puffy clouds out here. And we're hoping the sun shines on us pretty directly to warm us up a little bit. We got the little shivers going on out here, and I thank my camera operators for putting up with these temperatures out here as the start of this race is about to get underway. Guys are held to their mark, and they're underway. They are running in a stagger, so it's difficult to tell who's who as they roll around. That's Sam Knight for Lake Orion in the A relay. You'll know who is in the lead when the exchange is first. Dragons and Adams in a near-dead heat. Frazier gets it for Lake Orion. Adams takes the lead down the home stretch. Nice, very impressive run there. And here's the exchange. Skibicki for Lake Orion. Near dead exchange. Not a very solid exchange for Adams. That's Jenkins, Jackson, Urbano, and Dufresne for Adams. But Adams stretches out this lead. Skibicki doing his best to try to catch up, but it's going to be a tough order. Adams in the lead. Dufresne gets the exchange. As does kind of Schlicky for Lake Orion. Lake Orion closing slightly. Dufresne in the lead for Adams. In the home stretch at the 100 meters. Looks like it's Adams. Dragons are closing the gap, but it's too little too late. Adams takes the W here in the 4x2. Nicely done by Adams. Dufresne strong. Again, that was Jenkins, Jackson, Urbano, and Dufresne in the 4x2. Adams takes the W. Little frustration on the Dragons side as the anchor for their A relay was a little disappointed. What was the time on that one? We got 1:33.82. I don't know if that's accurate, considering they went on 1:36 just a week ago. I don't know if they dropped 3 seconds. They could have. You never know. They were flying for sure. All right, we're going to step away. When we come back, we'll have the ladies 4x200 meter relay right after this. Don't go away. And we're back here. Varsity track. Lake Orion versus Athens, this OAA matchup. The Lady Dragons are looking to stay undefeated in the regular dual meet season, as well as the men here for Lake Orion. Victories over Oxford, Clarkston, and the Rochester dual meet was postponed due to snow and ice on the track. So that's coming up in early May. But they so far are sporting a 2-0 record, both the men and women. And I know Rochester Adams split with Oxford. I believe the men lost and the women won. They were close matchups, to say the least. And so lucky to get this one in. We're just waiting for the little iceberg to float by, because that's what this spring has been all about, just cold and crazy. So about ready to get underway here in the 4x200 meter relay. The Dragons are going to run 3 relays, and it looks like Adams has 1. And how did they do at Oxford Invite? Lake Orion women were 5th overall, and Adams was 3rd. And it was Lauren Williams, Kylie Ward, Maggie Fetterman, and Gabrielle Mack. And I believe that is the lineup for tonight. So a very experienced lineup for Adams. They were 3rd at that very stacked meet. A lot of talent at that meet. They ran a 1:51.24. And the Dragon varsity is Michaela Allen, Grace Winkler, Sarah Griffin, Chantal Staley. Dragons will also be running 2 JV relays. McDonald, Curtis, Burns, Formel. And the 3rd one is Skibicki, Mason, Mulcahy, and Gleason. We heard the whistle. Races are on their marks and set to go. Just waiting for the gun. And they're off. Again, Adams very impressive at the Oxford Invitational, 3rd overall in a stacked field. just 1 second behind Bloomfield Hills. Adams destroyed the stagger immediately. My word, that is Williams out to a huge lead. And that's saying something in the 4x2. Here comes the exchange for Adams. Oh, trouble with the exchange, baton exchange for Adams, but their lead was such that it was not an issue. Ward, long legs and a huge stride, just powering down this home stretch in the second leg of this. Dragons looking to do anything they can to try to close this gap. Ward on the exchange here, tough exchange, it's there, and they're off. Looks like Fetterman is the third leg of this relay. High tempo, high turnover for Fetterman on her stride. Dragons looking to try to close the gap somewhat. That is Sarah Griffin on the move. Closing the lead slightly. But we'll see what the anchor is, and the anchor is usually a very strong runner. Another long leg. Oh, left a little too early. Another tight exchange, but quite the acceleration for Adams off the line there. That is Mack. Dragons looking to close here as Chantel Staley is the anchor for Lake Orion. Big lead here for Adams. It looks like it's Adams. Down the home stretch, nice performance by the Highlanders. As they come across, Dragons in second place. Highlanders at 1:51.37 unofficial, which would improve upon their time if it's accurate by almost a second on their Oxford Invitational time. Dragons were unofficial at 1:52.87. Which is pretty close to what we had listed or what they performed at the Oxford Invitational. So big win for the relay, and only the first relay across the line gets points. So that's some solid points for the Highlanders. That's it for the 4x200 relay. We're going to move on to the next event after this short timeout. It is the mile. Stay tuned.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A contract that weathered Tet. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
And we're back. About to get underway here with a 1,600-meter run, the mile. And it's a stacked field here, but Lake Orion is putting their top two guys in this race, top three even. Ryan Mulcahy, Andrew Nolan, and Nick Wolf. And Hernandez is another one to watch for Lake Orion on the varsity side. And on the 1,600, we have Raymond, Garland, Collins, and Sala. And on their note sheets, there's question marks next to those. I'm not sure what that means. But let's take a peek at their 1,600-meter times for the Oxford Invitational. It's kind of the most recent meet that these two teams participated in. And it's the best way for us to gauge kind of the competition moving forward. Ryan Mulcahy is the winner of the Oxford Invitational, running an inspired mile, finishing in 4:21.92, a personal record, all-time best. And we're underway here. Large field underway here. And one thing from Adams is they lost some of their top distance runners to graduation just a year ago. So Mulcahy and Andrew Nolan for Lake Orion on lane 2, I believe, taking it out strong and fast as expected. They're some of the top 2 distance runners in all of the OAA. And both are looking to make some noise at the regional meet just a few short months away. Dragons in the lead here, Andrew Nolan, and Mulcahy's in the lead with Andrew Nolan trailing slightly. Looking here at the Rochester Adams. Justin Childers ran last Saturday. I'm trying to see if that's the only miler for Adams. A week ago it is. His mile was roughly, what are we looking at here? 5:01. 2 Dragon milers are hanging with the one doing a sandwich there. I don't know if it's Raymond or Garland. I don't have specific details on who the actual runner for Adams is, but he's hanging with the two big guys for Lake Orion. Mulcahy in the lead. Strong stride with Nolan in third for Lake Orion. Adams in second. Next pack for Lake Orion is a pair running together. And then we have the rest of the field. Coming on to the half-mile mark here for the mile. Dragons in the lead. Ryan Mulcahy checks over his left shoulder to see where the competition is. He's starting to stretch it out slightly. Adams is hanging strong. Andrew Nolan fading slightly here at the 400-meter mark. What are we looking at? 2:17. It's probably less than that, I think. I looked at it a little bit delayed, so that's a nice pace so far. They're looking at 4 and some change here for all these runners. Ryan Mulcahy with the trailer. That can be a dangerous position to be in if you're the leading the whole way. No, Mulcahy looks over his shoulder once again at the Adams runner, just checking out how far he is. One thing we do know about these stand for distance runners, and Mulcahy turns on the jets at the 200-meter mark. We see this every time, and it really is kind of a confidence killer for those who think they're in good position on the Lake Orion distance runners, just to find out, hey, we have another gear. And when they hit that 200-meter mark, they turn on the jets. Andrew Nolan starting to close on the Adams runner now as Mulcahy stretches out his lead nicely. Preparing to lap the field as his bell lap comes up. The final lap here for the varsity runners. Nolan overtakes Adams. Just a blistering pace in that first 800 meters. Ryan Mulcahy on a mission for this mile. He looks over his shoulder once again, turning his head fully back to see where everybody is. And Mulcahy just having a season here in 2018. 350 so far as he approaches the 200-meter mark. Andrew Nolan trying to close in on Mulcahy, but it's 357 at the 200-meter mark for the Lake Orion Dragons. Adams has faded to third. Ryan Mulcahy, impressive. He's going to have to dodge some traffic here as he approaches the 100-meter mark coming around that turn 3. Turn 4 now. Looks again. He might just put this into cruise control and just kind of settle in, and he has the wind locked up, just save some energy for the later races, but he's rolling 425. Yeah, he's coasting now. Mulcahy wins it easily. 4:35 unofficial. Andrew Nolan rolls in at 4:41 unofficial. And here comes Adams, the trailer. And there's the third spot there for the varsity run. And his time was roughly 4:35 and some change. Oh, excuse me, 4:58 and some change. Dragons go 1-2. And a good buddy of mine just rolled into the press box. Flip that around there, Sam. He was down helping out with a shot put. It's Sammy Taramina.
Hey, how are you?
What's up there, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. Everything going all right?
It's going okay?
Yes. Everything going okay?
Yeah, it's going okay. We got a little problem with our power here, so just watch your hand.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's try to get it back. I'm sure you can hear us, but we can't hear ourselves in our ears.
It's okay.
Little power problem.
I apologize.
Anyway.
Yep.
Joey, I hope you can still hear us. We're going to continue talking here. So we're just wrapping up the mile here. Mulcahy does what he does best. Andrew Nolan did what he did.
Yes, he
did. And they went 1-3. And as the rest of the field rolls in, we're going to take a brief break, see if we can fix our little power problem up here. And we'll be back with the ladies' 1,600-meter run right after this short timeout. You're watching ONTV's coverage of high school track. Stay tuned.
How are you?
All right, we're back after that short timeout. The ladies' 1,600 meters about to get underway here. Let's go over some of the competitors here for Lake Orion. And that's Allison Sherman, their top miler, sitting at 5:33 as her best on the season. Sophia Bohannon and Helena Nunley in for the Dragons. They also have Emily Leopold, Lauren Mulcahy, and Delaney Rogers. And flipping some pages around here. We'll get to the throws in just a second. Sammy's our throwing specialist. And for the ladies, we have Solden, Desi, Raiba, and Joshi.
Joshi, yes.
Okay, so let's see what we have here. About to get underway with a mile. Once we get underway, let's review, okay? So the field is getting set here. And the gun is raised, about ready to get underway here in the mile. Dragons looking for a W from Sherman. Sherman had a great run at the Oxford Invitational, doing a career best.
Well,
in the 3,200.
Orion did very well in that Invitational, of course, winning it.
And we're underway in the 1,600 meters. Yep, I've been sharing with our viewers all meet long that the Dragons took #1 slot. The ladies did, and the guys were runner-up. So Sherman's underway with Bohannon and Emily Leopold in the group.
This is going to be an interesting race.
It is, and it's good to see Leopold out there. She's been battling some injuries this season.
Well, when you look at Leopold, of course, yeah, you're all right. She has been battling some injuries, no doubt.
But it's good to see her back on the track. And one thing about Adams, comparing last year to this year, they lost some solid distance runners again to graduation, just like the men's team.
They did. I mean, but you know, Coach Eric Lohr, he's going to always rebuild that team. He's going to regroup that team. I mean, like Adams right now looking at, this is a team that they could make some noise, especially heading into leagues. You know,
that is true. And Sherman, it looks like Sherman's got two challengers here from Adams as they approach the 100-meter mark and the cutover.
Well, you know, you got to look at Adams. Adams has always had good times in the mile. They've always been really, really good when you look at this Adams team. Now, people say, well, yeah, this Adams team is down, but you can never, ever count out Rochester Adams.
Well, we got a race here now after the first 400. Sherman's taking it out with 2 Highlanders in tow. And let's see if we have any Rochester Adams runners from before. So we have Desi win a 5:40 at the Oxford Invitational.
And
Allie Solden win a 5:40. So they're virtually identical.
So it could be it's going to be a really tight race between those two. It looks like right now Sherman right now.
She's starting to stretch it out. I think
she's starting to, but you got to be concerned though that she's doing all the work, and those 2 ladies from Adams are, you know, possibly taking their time.
Could be.
You know,
one thing we know about Sherman though, I mean, her best time is roughly 7 seconds faster than Adams. 2 competitors that are trailing her currently in 2nd and 3rd. Emily Leopold in 4th, looking to close the gap.
She's going to have to make some ground now if she's going to have any chance getting some plates. It looks like Sherman is just about going. She's about gone.
So this is the 800 meters. So we have 2 more to go.
2 more to go. My bad. 2 more to go.
That's okay. So he's stretching it out. But Leopold, if
Leopold could catch those 2 Adams runners, that would be something.
Yep. And here we are at the 800 meter mark. It is 37, 38, 39, 40. That seems a bit light.
When you look at it, yeah, especially, you know.
Did we start the clock late? No, we're good? Okay. Sherman looks like she's trucking now. She's approaching the 300-meter mark, and Adams is fading quickly. But the turnover for Sherman seems like she's picking up her pace slightly.
Well, Sherman right now, we know what she can bring to the party, of course.
Absolutely.
You know, but it looks like Leopold's starting to make a move. She might make a move on this. I mean, it could be a battle for 2nd here coming up here, you know, so keep an eye on that for sure.
And for Emily to pull off a 2nd place after what she's been going through this season is a fantastic.
Well, it would be huge for this team, especially going forward once they get in the leagues, and especially in the regional, where in that regional it's anybody's ball game there. But it's important for Leopold to basically to come back from an injury and, to basically create that second option beside Sherman.
Absolutely. And here we come now, Sherman approaching her bell lap. We'll hear the bell ring. The race we need to watch out, Leopold, she's going to the outside. Adams is not yielding on the inside line, so Emily's got to run a little bit longer. Let's see how she holds up. I would say hang with that pack. Don't try to pass. Just let them push the pace.
If it's her, that's the key. Let them do the work. I mean, basically, they've been together a lot. When you look at Adams, they've been together a lot most of this race. So
correct.
When you look at it, I mean, this is a team.
Where are we at here? 4:22 so far, unofficial. Sherman approaching that 300-meter line back there in firm command of first place.
She could lap 2 Adams girls, it looks like.
A large field like this, that's going to happen at some point.
Oh, yeah, it will happen at some point.
Leopold looking like she's stretching. Solden and Desi still trying to hold their position and starting to kick some on. Emily,
this could
Leopold,
be a very interesting race for second.
Let's see what Leopold for the Lake Orion Dragons has at this 200-meter mark. That's usually when you start kicking it in. If you're going to make a move, that's when you do it.
You got to do it now if you're Leopold, especially when you're trying to make up some ground.
Here comes the leader, Sherman, around turn 4, coming into the home stretch at the 100-meter mark.
She's right now third, but Adams might make some ground up again.
Yeah, Adams looking strong. The fourth place runner for them is right on Leopold's.
So it's going to be a race.
Right on her caboose.
And it looks like she's going to get Leopold.
Let's see what the kick is at the 100-meter. Does Emily have anything in the tank? Nope. And it looks like Adams was holding some back. Boy, having a kick like that.
And I think that's
Sherman first, Adams second and third, but that is a nice run by Leopold. There's something to work on there.
Well, for Leopold, coming back from an injury, it's going to take some time for her to get her stride, and it's going to really take some time with her, and I think it will. I think she'll get there. I really do believe
she's been there in the past.
Especially heading in the leagues and especially heading in that regional coming up in a couple weeks.
Well, let's look at some times here. Top time, unofficial, 5:31. So if that's accurate, that means Sherman trimmed some time off her personal best on the season. Again, it's unofficial. And 5:36 and 39, respectively, for the Adams finishers in 2 and 3. Remind the viewers at home, Sam, what's the scoring for first, second, and third?
Well, if you want to know, guys, first place is 5 points, second place is 3 points, and third place is 1 point.
Okay.
Now, if you go into an invitational format, first place is 10 points, second place is 8, third is 6, fourth is 5, fifth is 4, sixth is 3. And seventh is 2, and eighth is 1.
So you get points through 8th place. So this is just a dual meet, so it's 1 through 3.
It's 5, 3, 1.
All right, good to know. Glad we could share it. All right, well, that's the end of the varsity race here as the field finishes here. We're going to step away. When we come back, we're going to have the 4x100 relay men in action right after this. Stay tuned.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old. I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. Sometimes my heart starts pounding like faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
And welcome back to ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Today, dual meet action with the Highlanders from Rochester, Adams. I keep calling Troy Athens for some reason. They're in town, and with me in the booth, I'm Ian Locke, and with me in the booth is my buddy Sammy Taramina. Mm-hmm. And we do have, I believe, an update on the throwing event.
Yes, so the shot put event. In the shot put, of course, that was the event that I did, that yours truly did. Of course, the first place went to Rochester. We're gonna go boys first. First place went to Rochester Adams' Cole Mitchell, of course, he is a very, very good thrower. He threw a 42 feet 2 inches. Second place also went to Adams. I can't remember the name right now. He threw 42 as well. And then third place was Sebastian Marcoux. He threw 41-2. And, not a good day for Sebastian Marcoux, but he had a good day at the Oxford Invitational throwing a 44. And today was not one of those days, for Marcoux, of course. He just had an off day.
That happens sometimes.
It happens. It really does. And then the discus, I don't have an update as of yet.
Okay.
On the girls' side, first place in the shot put was Mary Smythe, who drew 30 feet 10 inches. Second place was Cassie Moreau from Lake Orion. She threw 30 feet 2 inches. And third place was Maddie Stankovich of Lake Orion. She threw 30 feet 1 inch.
So that's going 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah, it's 9 points.
Again, we talked about the balance of the ladies' team. That they have people in all areas, all disciplines that can score points.
Well, when you look at Lake Orion, of course, a lot of people looked at the loss of Taylor Eaton and say, okay, well, Lake Orion could be down this year.
Yeah.
That has not been the case. You got to give credit to coaches Darren Eaton and Bob Bridges. They both have done a magnificent job at getting this throwing program in the right direction. Of course, the throwing program is going to be going on the upward swing in the next couple of years. Of course, when you have well-known coaches like Jake Gleason, and then you have Anthony Terramina, and of course myself, in the middle school ranks.
A lot of numbers in the middle school ranks doing the throws. So,
there is a lot.
A lot of kids taking part and having a good time doing it.
Oh yeah, it's a good time doing it.
All right, it looks like everybody's in position. I see white flags almost everywhere.
It's kind of interesting because in the middle school meets, the 4x1 is usually the last event.
Yeah, and I like having the 3,200 the first event. Instead, you got to wait, and it's at the end. But yeah, it's they shuffle them up for some reason. There's got to be a reason. I don't know what.
There's got to be a reason. Yes.
I just haven't talked to any of the middle school coaches to go, what? Why the shuffle?
Yep. Of course, you got new coaches at Scripps and Walden.
Yeah.
Of course, Joe McCullum at Walden and Megan Daly at Scripps. They both do a very good job.
Yep. And Walden just had their first meet this week against Pontiac and Scripps. How did Scripps do?
Scripps beat Clarkston in the boys,
really?
Lost in the girls.
So they split it.
Yep.
I hear the whistle for the competitors to take their marks here.
This is going to be a good race. This will be a good race. Lake Orion and Adams, separated by a few hundredths of a second.
All right, Jenkins, Jackson, Tinkle, DeFrance for Adams, and for Lake Orion, we have Campbell, Freeman, Frazier, and I really okay, we'll go with that, and we're underway. And these are the same guys that competed against each other at the Oxford Invitational. Lake Orion had a better split than they did at the final tally of only 1/2 of a second. And you can see it's a dead heat, 1, 2, 3, going right across that backstretch. Dragons have slight edge on the stagger. Nice exchange by Lake Orion. Adams had a little delay. Here's the final exchange coming.
Going to come down this exchange. Lake Orion's got it up in front.
Oh, delayed handoff. Flat-footed start.
This is going to be a tight race.
I think the Dragons have it.
Here comes Adams.
Oh.
Adams. And he pulled a hamstring.
It looks like Adams came up injured.
He pulled a hamstring, yes.
You could see it right here at the 20-meter mark.
Yep.
Dragons come in at 44.5 unofficial. Adams 44.99.
And it's very unfortunate, you know what I mean? What happened with Adams is Adams on the anchor, of course. He pulled a hamstring. You know what I mean? That does not feel good.
It does not feel good. And that was DeFrance. And he had a nice run in the 100 meters as well.
He did. He really did.
All righty. Well, that's the 4x1. We're going to take a timeout as the ladies get set here. We'll be back after this short timeout. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Stay tuned. And welcome back to ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Dual meet action here at Dragon Stadium. Track and field. With me in the booth is Sammy Terramina. And Sammy, you had an update on the throws.
Yeah, the second place was Mr. Leonard. Of course, he threw the 42-footer for Adams. I just Found out that just now.
Okay.
Discus, we still don't have an update as of yet in the boys. But I know the girls, Lake Orion did sweep in the girls in discus.
Okay. So they're still setting up here on the track. I see the flags are still up in some areas. So we'll go down the roster here for the A relay for Adams. We have Williams, Abdallah, Henry, and Fetterman. And for the Dragons, we have 4x1. We have Michaela Allen, Maddie Eaton, Sierra Curtis, and Melissa Simons. Melissa Simons won the 100 meters just a moment ago.
This is a deadly combination when you look at it. When you have a girl like Madison Eaton in there, you have Michaela Allen leading off, and then, of course, you have the freshman and Sierra Curtis.
Yep.
Of course, I know Sierra Curtis very well because she was at Scripps last year.
Yeah, two-time county champ in the hurdles.
Really good, really good athletes. These four have for Lake Orion. This is going to be it wouldn't surprise me if they come out and have a good showing.
Yep, and they're on their mark, and we're underway. First leg of the race underway here. Michaela Allen for Lake Orion on the inside. Williams. The exchange. Maddie Eaton takes off.
There goes Eaton. There goes Eaton.
Maddie
Look
Eaton.
at that stride.
I know, and stretching it out here. Here's the third exchange. Sierra Curtis.
Good handoff.
Short but fast.
Good handoff by Curtis.
Nice job. Nice turnover by Curtis. Fantastic. She's a longtime soccer player. Good athlete. And here comes Melissa Simons.
There goes
No chance.
Simons. Yep.
Dragons nicely done here in the 4x1. What are we looking at for time here? Nicely done there. 51.2 unofficial. Adams 53.58.
It was good stride, but you know how the race was won by Maddie Eaton. You know what I mean? That was the difference maker right there. Of course, I thought when she strided that lead, increased that lead, that was ball game.
It is, and when you have three like Curtis, I mean, all three are solid runners, and
then
any coach would love to have them on their 4x1.
Oh yeah, I got to give Dave Hudson a lot of credit, but also their leader, their leadoff, Michaela Allen.
Absolutely.
She is a very underrated player. I think when you look, a lot of people talk about Maddie Eaton, Melissa Simons, and Sierra Curtis, but Michaela Allen.
Yeah.
Let's remember, I know that family tree very well, and. Of course, playing with Aaron Allen, no doubt, helped out a lot. But she
does the job, gets it done.
Gets the job done.
Absolutely,
yes,
and we're excited to see what she does near the as the season rolls along. We're going to take a quick break. We come back with the 400-meter run right after this timeout. You're watching ON TV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Jerry Mathers, and I have diabetic peripheral neuropathy, or DPN. DPN most often damages nerves in the hands and feet, causing pain, numbness, or even total loss of feeling, and it's become a leading cause of lower limb amputation. If you have diabetes, be proactive, monitor your glucose levels, take your medication, and maintain proper foot health with your podiatrist. It worked for me.
And we're back after that brief timeout. The 400-meter run is about to get underway. Lake Orion runners are on the track. I don't know if we're going to have multiple heats. We may.
Maybe not.
Yep, we're going to call just the varsity heat. And for Lake Orion, we have Knight, Maupin.
Sammy Knight, Noah Maupin.
Yep, Mason and Mulligan. And for Adams, we have Urbano, Johnson, Rivera, Monday, Lee, and William.
Well, when I look at the 400 meters, watch out for Sammy Knight and Noah Maupin.
Yes.
I'm very high on those two.
Yeah, Knight is very impressive. Seems to be getting faster and faster just
I know his older brother very well. Very, very good family there. Really nice man, too.
Well, I got some vacated lanes here. We'll see what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not sure what's going on. They're looking for somebody. I don't know if it's a Lake Orion runner. I think it's Adams runner. There he is. He finds his home in lane 4.
It's a very interesting dynamic when you look at it. When you look at the Lake Orion side of things, I mean, you got Maupin and Knight. Obviously, you're 2 of your fast runners on there. I mean, but when you also look at another, you know, Lake Orion could do some damage.
They can. They lost some in the middle distance to graduation last year's.
They did.
You know, 2 big heavyweights, one to Wayne State and the other one to U of M, or it was U of M? Now it's Grand Valley, I believe. I
think it's Grand Valley.
Okay, initially committed to Grand Valley.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're in the college ranks running. So anytime
you
lose D1 candidates or D2 runners,
it's going to be tough to replace.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt.
But the middle distance so far has been doing a nice job for the Dragons.
Well, and that's a credit to Stan Ford especially, because he's done a magnificent job building that distance crew up.
Absolutely.
That is a huge credit. And I call Stan Ford, of course, the legend of track and field. And then, of course, you have Mike Cash at the king of the hurdles.
Starts ready. Oh, misfire on the gun.
No, we have a lot of misfires lately.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had a lot of them.
We saw that at the Oxford Invitational, a lot of misfires. So here we go. Let's try this once again. Not a lot of, just one person using the blocks down here by the 400 meter.
I'm a little surprised that somebody's using blocks.
I see it more often, and we're underway here in the 400 meters.
It's be very interesting here.
Let's see, how's the stagger inside lane 1?
It looks like, could that be Knight and Maupin?
It looks like it.
It looks like it.
Dragons doing a nice job inside lane 1 and or lane 2 and 4. Can they hold it? That is a blistering pace. Where are we at right now? 30 seconds.
Maupin has the lead. Knight right now, I think, is second.
Maupin looking very strong. Dragons so far sitting 1, 2, 3.
Yep, it looks like Maupin's going to win this comfortably.
Wow. He shuts it down a little bit. Dragons solid 1, 2, 3 in this event. Nicely done by the hometown Dragons. Adams 4,
and this is
5,
one of the
6,
reasons
7.
why. This is one of the reasons why I'm high on Nolan Maupin. I mean, like when you look at Maupin, of course, he did cross country last year. Of course, he used to play basketball for a while till we gave that up his junior year.
Winning time was unofficial 53.35, second place 55.04, and 56. That's a nice grouping at times there.
Oh, it's a nice grouping. It's got to make Coach Stan Ford very happy.
Absolutely.
It's got to make him thrilled, no doubt.
Yep.
But especially when you get ready for later in the year, of course, Maupin really. Maupin, in my opinion, is an 800-meter runner guy. You know what I mean?
It's true. We've even seen it in the mile, a couple times.
Yes, we have. Maupin is like a utility player you can basically use on your team.
Plug him in anywhere.
Plug him in anywhere, and he'll get the job done. That's how I know how Maupin's mindset works. And especially, of course, when he had the 800 at the Oxford Invitational, of course, that. I think he took a third, I believe.
I'll have to look that one up.
But I know.
Well, we can look at that after the break because Dragons go 1, 2, 3. Big points for the guys.
Huge points for the guys
Absolutely.
there against Adams, of course. Any points is very huge, especially in this type of in the dual meets.
And we're just going to take a quick step away as they finish up these other 400-meter heats. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Stay tuned. The Lady 400-meter run is next. And welcome back to ONTV's coverage of track and field. Lake Orion taking on Athens.
Adams.
Why do I keep saying Athens?
Why are you thinking Athens?
I don't know.
You're probably thinking of lacrosse.
Pretty much. Got a lot on my brain. Rochester, Adams. And actually, I was looking at the flag. Boy, did the wind pick up in the last 10 minutes?
It just picked up in the last 10 minutes. It's been blowing from the north about 15 to 20.
Easy. And it is really coming now, and the sun is starting to make its way behind us, and the clouds are kind of increasing here, so the temperatures are dropping. And interesting temperature changes. It's usually good for the distance runners.
It is.
But when it gets too cold, it's not good for anybody.
No, it's not. I mean, when you look at the weather, that means your training has to really prepare itself, especially those with the hamstrings and all that, and all. I mean, like, it could lead to those type of injuries. And you look at all the kids like running right now on the field right now, basically trying to keep warm. I mean, that's important. You know what I mean, to make sure that you keep warm, and also to help with the and also getting ready for their events as well.
Okay, here's the next batch of the varsity race for the 400 meters. Grace Winkler, Renita Smith, Josie Arnold, Sarah Griffin. Josie Arnold, one of the top 400-meter runners and 800-meter runners on this team. We have Urbano, that's the guys. 4, Mac Ward, Josan, and Days.
You know, Mac's a very good runner for Adams.
Oh, absolutely.
Mac's one of those top runners for Adams.
And they're off in the 400 here in the varsity heat. Josie Arnold cutting that stagger on lane 2, or actually lane 4. Doing a nice job to stretch it out. Nice long strides by the Dragon runners.
There's Mac.
Mac for Adams, coming on strong, hanging right behind Arnold. Dragons.
They got another one too.
Yep, they could go 1-3 in this heat. I believe that is Ward.
I think that is Ward, too.
Yep, saw her at the Oxford Invite putting in some nice times. Dragons looking for the top spot. Josie, how is she going to do at the 100 meters? Josie Arnold, junior here for Lake Orion, in lane 4. Out to a comfortable lead so far, but what's the closing speed of Mac?
Here comes Mac. It looks like Arnold's slowing down.
Mac's closing in. Arnold coasting here at the end, but wins it comfortably.
That's a little uneasy when you look at it. I don't know
she must have several events going later.
I don't know why Arnold coasted that way. I don't know why.
She could have hit a wall. You never know.
She could have hit a wall.
The one thing about
caught.
Yeah, the one thing about Josie Arnold, the way she runs, is she's so relaxed and smooth. You can't. It doesn't look like she's exerting any effort at all.
No, but
so she could have hit a wall.
But still, I mean, like, if you wanna overexert yourself, you wanna go hard during the You want to go hard in these events.
I agree,
you know what I mean?
But we don't know what the condition is out there for her to go. But, hey, unofficial, 101.46 for Arnold, 102 and 103 for second and third places. Those are respectable times, to say the least. Very nice.
Times,
again,
no doubt.
Unofficial. All right, we're going to take a brief timeout. We're going to have the 300-meter hurdles after this short break. You're watching ON TV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Stay tuned.
Nine out of 10 of us say we want to die at home. But for a third of us, this is the last place we'll see. If you had just months to live, where would you want to be? Willie wanted to enjoy her great-great-great-grandchildren. She chose hospice. See what's possible at momentsoflife.org.
And we're back here at Dragon Stadium. The meet continues here at the OAA matchup, a dual meet action.
It's a red matchup, yes.
And always exciting. This is the third for Lake Orion, correct?
Mm-hmm. I think this is the third for dual meet for them, yes. They beat Clarkson, they beat Oxford earlier in the meet.
Yep, earlier in the year, yep. And the big one was before spring break. It just seemed like an odd matchup for Clarkston, Lake Orion Clarkson, so early. But the Dragons took the W, and it was a tight one too, man. I think it was roughly 6 points.
It was tight, yes, but you got to give credit to the Lady Dragons for winning that one. Against Clarkston, we talked about them last year, about how good the Wolves are. They still are pretty good, but I still got concerns about them in the sprints. You know how
we talked about that before.
We talked about that on our podcast.
All right, let's get the lineup here for the guys in the 300 hurdles. Thomas Mormon, Tyler Skibicki, and Yonkers.
David Yonkers.
Yep. And for Adams, we have McKenzie, Tuscany, Devuru, Rusniak. Yep.
Jones and Santilotto.
Yep. So
this could be really interesting. You know, Mike Hatch, the legendary hurdles coach at Lake Orion, he does a beautiful job with these
He does do a fine job, but
he does a magnificent job.
It's easy to offer praise when you have two runners like Skibicki and Mormon in this event.
Really, really good.
Mormon was a dual winner at Oxford, winning this and the 110. So he's just been coming on strong this year, and he and Skibicki have a great rivalry going here. Skibicki first over the hurdle. He's in the lead early. Close race with Adams, number 1. I'm assuming that's McKenzie. If they have him listed as top time to bottom time, Skibicki on the inside on lane 2 in the lead. Mormon trailing.
I don't know what's going on with Norman.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to make a stride.
And he turns on. Skibicki, one more hurdle for Skibicki. Mormon turns it on. He was sandbagging.
He just took second.
And at the end, clears it 1-2. That was an interesting. Mormon was taking it easy on that backstretch.
I'm a little surprised Norman took it easy on that backstretch. That's not what you expect. You know what I mean? With Norman, I mean, it's not what you expect with him.
No.
You know?
But hey, they went 1-2.
It went 1-2. Sure, it's 8-1, but you know.
Different strategy.
I don't know if
is
it
this
was
official,
a different
or what do we got here?
Or...
No. Okay, so we had an issue with our timing. Say that again. No, it's 1, and we'll fix that for the ladies. But Thomas Mormon and Skibicki moving forward in the OAA. I mean, they're two of the top hurdlers.
They are clearly two of the top hurdlers in the red division, and no doubt in the league, but also in the entire OAA, and also, and I dare say, top in the state. I mean, when you look at it.
Yeah, and they're going to find their way to.
I think they'll find their way to East Kentwood. Yep. Yeah. They get to East Kentwood, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to step away as we finish these 300-meter hurdle heats, and we'll have the women's varsity right after this short timeout. This is Owen TV. Stay tuned. Just over the halfway mark in this meet here at Lake Orion High School, home of the Dragons. I'm Ian Locke, and with me in the booth is Sammy Taramina, about ready to get under the 300 meters for the hurdles with the girls.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens here.
Absolutely. Melissa Simons, Madeline Rogers, Maddie Eaton, Abigail Karjala, and
Anna Kinney. You got,
let's see down here we have Pulaski, Grifka, Moriarty, Champagne, and Cohen for Adams.
Pulaski's an interesting runner for Adams. I mean, like, it's an interesting hurdler. I mean... But you know,
but we're stacked.
Then again, you got Simons, Eaton, and Simons and Eaton in this one. Yeah.
And Simons and Eaton were challenging for the win at the Oxford Invitational. Unfortunate error on the last hurdle for Maddie Eaton to DQ, but she's going to look up.
It did not matter though. Lake Orion won the Invitational though.
It did. And that even tells you about the depth here, and you can see Simons and Maddie Eaton.
They're comfortable right now.
They're comfortable.
They're very comfortable right now when you look at it.
Yep. And Maddie Eaton, sweet redemption here on home turf, last home meet of this season before they tear it out and put a new one in.
Yep. Maddie Eaton comfortably. There's
measuring
Melissa
those
Simons
hurdles
comfortably. You know.
Last hurdle for both. Oh, stutter step again. Maddie's got a little hitch in her step at that last hurdle for some reason. Dragons go 1-2. Maddie not happy with that last hurdle. She almost ran into the same thing. One extra step. Oh, and a Dragon goes down just finishing at the end. Finishes. Boy, that hurts on a day like this.
It does hurt in a day like this, especially with the weather. What it is, it's tough. You know, it's difficult to
Maddie
say the
Eaton,
least.
if this is, we got unofficial here, times 47.18 for Maddie Eaton. Simons 49.47 and 51.77 for third place in Rochester Adams.
Maddie Eaton's Maddie Eaton and Melissa Simons, arguably, I think
they're
tough one too. Two of the best in the state of
Michigan. Or
you
can say 1 and 1A.
I think 1A, 1B.
1A, 1B.
1A, 1B when you look at them, Maddie Eaton.
Absolutely. All right, Dragons stack on some points in that event, going 1-2, and we'll step away. We'll be back with the 800-meter run right after this short timeout. You're watching Owen TV's coverage of Dragon Track.
If you keep tanning, indoors or out, the effects of harmful rays will show up on your skin. Wrinkles, age spots, and an increased risk of melanoma. second most common cancer in women 15 to 29. Stop tanning. Time may not be on your side. Learn how to protect your skin at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
All right, we're back here at Dragon Stadium. Home of the Lake Orion Dragons. ONTV's coverage of OAA track continues. Interesting race just concluded. Dragons went 1 and 2 in the 300-meter hurdles.
Well, that's because you have two very good runners.
Absolutely.
And Melissa Simons.
And we're moving on to the 800-meter run, and looking at the results of the the Oxford Invitational from just a week ago. Parker Raymond for Rochester Adams, the champion.
He had a PR in that one.
Absolutely, a 1:57.07. So he's the top runner for Adams coming into this one.
Lake Orion's got one in Nolan Maupin, though. I mean, like, if he can...
2:03.16.
I think if he can pick up a little more seconds, I think he could give Raymond a run for his money. I mean, Parker Raymond's a really good athlete. There's no doubt about that.
800, it's kind of tough picking up 3 seconds in 800s. I mean, you could do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
But over a short period, depending on how you, it's always that second go around. You know, that
the second go around is going to be tough when you look at. Okay, you're going to basically.
What do you have?
You're going to basically run that, and then of course, you know, I'm curious to see how they do at the leagues, especially up at Oxford, where.
Yeah. I forgot it was up
You gotta look at when you look at the league, you know, in the league meet, you know, people are gonna say, well, is Lake Orion the favorite? And right now, a lot of people say maybe because you got Oxford there, and then of course you got Adams, Clarkston, and Rochester that could steal points from both teams. So when you look at that league meet, no doubt it's going to be either Lake Orion or Oxford in the boys.
Absolutely. So the field for Lake Orion is Knight, Frazier, Skibicki, and
of course Nolan Maupin.
800 meters. Is Maupin out there? I'm assuming he is. Did I miss somebody? I think I wrote down the wrong ones there.
I think you did. you did.
Yeah, that was from the 800 relay.
Yeah,
then
we're underway.
Raymond, Chamra, Garland, Sanderson for the Highlanders.
I mean, there goes Raymond. Raymond and Maupin are going to be.
And Drew Geim.
Yep, Raymond and Maupin, I think, is going to be the race to watch.
Boy, they're taking it out strong.
Yep. I mean, Raymond and Maupin are going to be. That's the race to watch, no doubt. I mean.
Maupin with the blue shoes.
I think
is that
that
right?
is him with
it looks
the blue
like Geim
shoes.
in the lead. And it looks like Raymond for the Highlanders taking the lead on the lane 1. Once they hit the 100-meter mark here, they can cut inside and run outside of their assigned lanes.
When you look at it, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I still think Raymond right now looks comfortably right now.
Yep. He just ran the mile, too.
He just ran the mile, too. I mean, but I think Raymond and Maupin's going to be – I think it's going to be tight. I really believe it.
Well, we'll have to see here. Raymond's looking very strong, just like he did at the Oxford Invitational. Drew Geim and Maupin doing their best to keep pace with him. But right now it's Raymond's to lose and Raymond's to win as he moves along that back stretch.
Raymond's got that stride down, you know what I mean?
Really working his arms, too. He's just a complete runner.
But if you're Lake Orion, even if you do lose this one, if you go 5-4, it tends to cancel out.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, it does tend to cancel out.
Guys still looking strong there at the just inside 200 meters. Coming around the 4th turn here is Parker Raymond, sitting at 1:33 unofficial so far at the 100-meter mark. He's looking to better his time from just a week ago at 1:57, and he's got juice in the tank, and he's stretching this one out. Geim grimacing in pain, Maupin following behind him, and it is Raymond on the W.
But if you're Lake Orion, basically, you know,
Dragons go 2-3.
2, 3, and 4. You know what I mean? When you look at it, 2, 3, and 4. It's always good. You know what I mean? If you're Lake Orion, you know that's good to take 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now. You know when you look at it.
Absolutely. Any points are good points. And so far, that, like you said, that one cancels out as the field comes in to the finish line there. Nice job by Parker Raymond. Just impressive run there. Looked very strong.
Really strong run from Raymond. Of course, Parker Raymond's one of those guys that could can make some noise. I mean, like, I expect to make some noise not only come the league time, but also in regionals as well.
Absolutely.
You know, so that is huge.
Be interesting to see where he lands at the end of the season, rolling into regionals. We'll be keeping track of that for sure. I know I'll be in attendance.
I'll be over at Rochester, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens there.
All right, we're going to step away. When we come back, we'll have the ladies' 800 meters right after this. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Dragon Track. Stay tuned. All right, we're back here at Dragon Stadium. OA track action here, the last home dual meet of the season here for Lake Orion. And they start demolition, I think, May 1st.
May 1st,
on
they start
the new track.
on the...
And a little bird told me that it's going to be a red track.
Yeah, it's sad to me. I mean, it's very sad.
Well, everybody wanted green again.
Everybody wanted green again, but I guess coaching staff's rumored wanted to have the track red. I'm bummed
they
about
said
it.
By cost and all that different things. But let's get into the roster here. Raymond, Chamra, Garland, Sanderson, the top four.
That wasn't the boys.
Well, that was, excuse me. Thank you, Sam. Josen, Patty, Magruder, and Zong.
Yep.
And for Lake Orion, usual suspects we see Sierra Nolan, Allison Sherman, Iris Meach, Sophia Bohannon. Round out the top five there for the Dragons.
Well, I'm surprised Sherman did not run the 800 meter run at Oxford. You know, I mean, I'm looking at the Oxford Invitational.
Well, they had her at the 4x8 in the relay that set a school record and came in second.
So now you have but it'd be an interesting matchup between Ava Jansen and Josie Arnold.
Arnold, yep.
I mean, like. And of course,
Josie's not even listed on this event.
But she ran the 800 at Oxford.
She did, but it doesn't mean she's running tonight. And I'm looking out there, and she's not in the field.
No, she's not.
So they're looking for Sherman to do some damage to try to keep up with.
It looks like it will be Sherman
Joseph.
running it. Yeah. So that would be really interesting with them Sherman running it instead of Arnold.
Janson, I hope I'm saying that right. That's a unique last name. So. Adams out to a huge lead to start this one out. Sherman trying to do her best. Adams in lane 3.
When you look at it from
Ava.
When you look at it, Johansson, of course, really good start for her. Really nice start for her.
Absolutely. Coming to the 100-meter mark after turn 4 in the first lap. And Nolan
looks like she's third right now.
Who's second for the Dragons?
Could that be Sherman? I don't think
No, Sherman's here third.
Okay.
That's Nolan and Iris Meach third for the Dragons. So Dragons 2, 3, 4. Iris Meach in fourth with the field. So I think that's Nolan out front doing a nice job for the Dragons, trying to keep pace. Adams. Janson, Ava doing a nice job. Looking strong. What's that back stretch? Can Nolan reel her in? It looks like.
I think she's going to try.
Well,
she could try.
That's why you're out here running, and it's all about this 200 meters. Who's stronger?
I mean, right now Lake Orion's got comfortably in third as well, third and fourth. Yep. So I think this is going to be a race between Nolan and Jansen.
Does she have it at the 2? I just don't see.
Does she have the kick?
I don't see Jansen.
She's getting ready for that kick now.
Oh, it's going to be close here. Let's see what happens at the 100 meters.
Now.
They got a
goes.
tailwind. We can hear the Adams coach saying kick it in.
There she goes. It's going to be a good one.
Is she hitting the wall? I don't know.
Well, she's got comfortably, but here comes Nolan. Will she get her?
No.
And no.
What a race. That was a true race, big heart there for Sierra Nolan, the senior. What are we looking at time? 2:25 unofficial. The winner was 2:24.
Johansson's a senior.
Let's see. Well. So Dragons go 2-3.
2, 3, and 4.
Yep. Sherman And Sherman rolls in at 2:35 and .55. So some nice points, kind of even it out there, right there, Sam. I think that's by design.
Yeah, it's got to give Dave Hudson and Keatham a lot of credit. You know what I mean for situating this whole thing out. You know what I mean? I mean, if you basically say, okay, give Adams first, you know what I mean, and then take second and third, you know, tend to cancels out.
Yep. As the last competitors here for Rochester, Adams, and Lake Orion come into the finish.
You will get a nice round of applause too.
Nice work there by the ladies there on the 800-meter. We're going to step away and get set up here for the 200-meter dash. I love the 200-meter dash.
This is going to be interesting.
It is going to be a good one. So we'll be back after the short timeout. 200-meter dash is next, right here on ONTV. Stay tuned.
Today, Eric Almirola behind the wheel in that 43 car.
We all have a role to play here at Richard Petty Motorsports. We respect each other, work hard, and that helped us get the big win in Daytona. My partners in the U.S. Air Force also know that it takes a team to make each mission a success. Your coworkers, family, and friends are your team. Treat them with respect, and together you can accomplish great things. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
And welcome back to ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Dual meet action here, last home meet of the season here for Lake Orion. And after this, they roll on, just like so many, to more invitationals. They got to go to
Rochester on May the 7th. That'll be a very interesting meet.
Yep, and May 7th was a reschedule because of the ice on the track.
Ice on the track. I still can't believe. I still can't believe what Mother Nature has done this year for us.
She's
it's
been abusive.
So cold. It's been so cold, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Whereas, where is the heat? You know what? I think the heat's coming
It's
next
coming.
week.
It is.
It's coming next
75
week.
on Monday, supposedly. We'll
beautiful,
see.
Beautiful.
But, you know, sometimes I think the weather guy just teases you with that just so you don't get too depressed.
The only meteorologist that I know that doesn't cheat us is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
You know, I watch... It's a meteorologist in Birmingham, Alabama. His name is James Spann. Really nice guy.
So he's all about the Michigan weather down there in Birmingham, Alabama.
He's more in Birmingham, Alabama, yes. Good guy, though. Great guy.
All right, let's look at the field for the 200 meters. We have Dufresne. We saw him. He might have pulled something there.
Yeah, he might have pulled something when he got
relay.
hurt. So I'm not sure if he's going to run this one or
4x1. It looks like it. I see his white sleeves out there. Urbano, Tenkel, and Yoon. Top four for... the Highlanders.
But we don't know what Dufresne's injury. You know, we don't know if
well, I see him out there.
He's out there.
Yep. And for the Dragons, we have Knight, Frazier, and
Konsulik.
Yeah, thank you. There's a reason you're here, Sam.
Yeah, I had a Konsulik. You know, I
really?
had a Konsulik in the throws a couple years ago, and her older sister Hannah.
200 meters. How did anybody do any damage over at Oxford? Adams, Dufresne was 16th at 24:14. And Lake Orion, Frazier was 24:32 for 21st.
We're underway here. You know, it looks like Dufresne is
looking pretty
good.
He's the guy to beat. Inside.
And he looks like he is gone. He's got
the lead. He's got that head lean and his head back.
He is gone. Yep.
Dragons looking 2-3 so far, closing, but he looks solid at the end there. We were worried after he grabbed his hammy after the 4x1.
Yeah, you know, you got to worry about that hamstring. I mean, like, you got to, yeah, but it looks like he's better now.
Yep, and it looks like we got unofficial 23.76 for Dufresne, 24.23 and 24.57, roughly, for the second and third place finishers.
Very interesting, of course, Dufresne. It looks like he's starting to get back healthy a little bit, you know?
I don't think, might have been a pride thing, who knows, at the 4x1.
I don't know if it was a pride thing at the 4x1 or if it was he actually got iced up and
feel a tweak and you just kind of
felt a tweak and all that.
Turn the jets off.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's the results of the varsity 200 meters. We're going to step away and have the ladies in action. right after this. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Varsity Track. Stay tuned. And we're back here. 200-meter ladies event about to get underway here. Dragons have Dominique McCarty, Perry Kiefer, Deanna McDonald, Chantel Stanley, Ashley Dodson, and Chloe Smith.
This is going to be an interesting 200-meter event, of course, when you look at who the favorite is.
Well, let me get to Adams here. They got Williams, Fetterman, Ward, and Mack. Potentially, there's a question mark on the sheet.
Watch out for Williams. She is their best runner. It looks like this could be.
They're stacked.
Adams really stacked it up. When you look at Fetterman, you look at Williams. Those are their two big guns. When you look at Adams, I mean.
And let's see, who
Fetterman
is it?
And
Lauren Williams
yep.
was fourth at
Oxford.
Oxford.
She's only a junior, so. She'll be back another year.
Red shoes, right? That's who we're looking for.
Yep, and then Fetterman, of course, is only
in lane 2.
Only a freshman.
Oh, boy.
Fetterman, yeah. So they're going to be diaper dandies for years to come.
Here we go, and we're underway.
We're underway, and it looks like this is going to be.
Oh, inside Dragons. McCarty.
Yeah, but here comes Williams on the inside. There's
Ooh,
Williams.
It's a dead heat at the 100-meter mark. Slight edge to the Dragons, but Williams is taking off.
Williams taking off, and here comes Fetterman.
And closing quick.
Fetterman's going to take.
It's going to be close.
Probably got second.
Ooh, I think Fetterman does it.
Yep.
Fetterman, close. Yep. That's a dead heat. I can't call it. Way too close.
I would probably have to say it probably would be Fetterman that
took
it. I think it's Fetterman of Adams. I really do believe it was.
Close.
Lake Orion's girl, I think kind of ran out of gas a little bit when you look at what happened there.
She ran a nice race, though.
She ran a nice race, no doubt, but against some really good competition. But Williams at the end of the day was too tough for the Dragon ladies, and that's 5 big points for Rochester Adams, and then of course getting a second and the 200. For them, that's 3 points. So that's 8 points total for Rochester Adams.
Yep, it's a big jump. But what do we have next? The 3,200. But we're not just jumping to that just yet. Let's go to a break real quick. And when we get back, good transition there, Sam. Appreciate it. We're going to run to the 3,200 meters right after this short break. The men are up first, and we'll have that after the timeout. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. Stay tuned.
Drownings are a leading cause of death for young children. Simple safety steps are the best way to prevent these tragedies. Make sure kids learn how to swim. Always watch them in and around water. Properly fence all pools and stay away from drains. Consider the steps you take, then add a few more. Because you never know which pool safety step will save a life until it does. Simple steps save lives. To learn some new ones, visit poolsafely.gov.
And we're back here wrapping up this meet here pretty soon. 2 more events per team.
It's kind of funny. You gotta love the 3,200 meter.
You either
look at all the runners just basically running right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if half of them are running the 3,200.
Well, let's take a look at the lineup. I got to flip a couple pages here. There's Sam.
Adams is loaded.
Adams on the guy side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm stopping counting at 10, but there's more than that. And
15.
Top runner for 32 for Adams is Collins, Sala, Childers, and Vinesh.
Well, this is going to be a very interesting distance event, and then we don't know who Lake Orion's going to be running.
Well, Lake Orion I do know. I've got Nolan, Mulcahy, and McLeod. So Nolan and Mulcahy. So it looks like they're doing a combo.
Yeah, it looks
like it. Which they should be doing, but all the Adams guys disrobing. Lake Orion women have 4 runners. Let's take a peek at those participants. It's Olivia Ames, Abby Locke, Emma Comanars, and Ainsley Woodrum. Olivia Ames recently.
Olivia Ames, obviously,
she recently broke the 12-minute barrier mark, so she's 11:50.
It's kind of funny, with Olivia Ames. She was a shot putter for me.
Really?
Yeah, Olivia Ames for the shot put.
I can see that. 32 for Adams. Ladies is Sun, Solden, and Frank. So
you can run them together if you want to. I mean, you can definitely run them together if you think about
you
it.
can.
I mean, like, but I don't know how they're going to do this.
Clock up is up and running. Yay.
It looks like the guys, it looks like it's going to be the guys' event. I still can't believe. Like, Orion looks like they only got about, like, 6 guys running it.
Yeah, they got 6.
They got 6 guys.
All
They got
right.
6 guys running it, looks like. You know, it looks like you may have more roster than you previously thought.
Well, we'll see. Well, I mean, we're just reading the top 3 varsity runners. The rest would be JV. And that list comes directly from Stan Ford.
From Coach Stan Ford, and Adams is
the
from
legendary
Coach Eric
Stan Ford.
Adams comes from Coach Eric Lore.
And just like that, they pushed the ladies out to the far 2 lanes because they're running. This is going to be a packed track.
Woo.
So all of our camera operators out there, have fun tracking who's in the lead.
This is going to be a really interesting race, no doubt.
We'll try to keep it in order because there's going to be a lot of lapping going on.
Yeah, there's going to be like a ton of lapping, that's for sure. You know, that's going to be – it's like, gentlemen, it's like, ladies and gentlemen,
yep.
Get your motors running.
Well, the 32 is off just a distance, a grueling event.
Oh, it's really grueling, especially when you have to run 8 laps around the track. I mean, like it's.
And they're set to go.
It is grueling.
And we're off.
That is grueling. You know
grueling,
that.
And the clock.
It is grueling. You know, think about it. You know, I'm a shot putter. You know what I mean? I'm a shot putter, discus guy. You know, if you're a thrower and you're running this, it's not going to be pretty.
So we're off in a heap. The ladies are to the outside, and they will stay on the outside until they reach the 100-meter mark at the cones down here to our left. And then they can cut into the middle or the interior lanes.
Adams has got like a huge pack, especially in the guys.
Big pack. Okay, let's review Adams again. We have Collins, Sala, and Childers as a top 3. Let's try to dig up the 32 from the Oxford Invitational, see if they have anybody making any noise today that ran at that event. Okay.
On the boys' side of things.
Adams. I don't see anybody at all. I don't know if they had anybody entered into that event.
Lake Orion, of course, obviously with Andrew Nolan there.
Andrew Nolan, Ryan Mulcahy.
Yep. It looks like they're trying to create the pack. You know, I'm a little.
Yep, pack of 4.
If I'm Nolan and Mulcahy, I would just basically.
And the tough part with this run is we've got a women's race going on too. So Olivia Ames is going to be trying to hang with, I believe that's Sun.
Yeah, I believe that
it's either
is
Sun,
yeah.
Solden, and Frank. I'll double check that. I don't know if that's Sun.
Well, I think, you know, when you look at it, that's really interesting when you look at let's see here. Is it? Yep.
And knowing the pace of the ladies coming in, we heard Coach Keith for Lake Orion, who put the lineup in together, is that the 2 Lake Orion runners, Ames and Locke, and the top 2 runners, or at least the top runner for Adams, all roughly run around the same time.
So this could be a good race, especially, and I think it could benefit, you know what I mean, when you look at, it could benefit, I think, those 3 runners.
Yep, Olivia Ames is starting to pull away from the pack slightly.
I think it's a little dangerous for Ames to.
Ames knows what she's doing, and she's dodging the slower guys there on the inside lane, trying to put. It's like a obstacle.
Looks like that Sun there, of course, running for Adams right now. Boys' side of things, he still have McCauley and Nolan running.
Yep. Mulcahy and Nolan in the lead. Nolan taking the slight lead. The sophomore broke. I think he went 9:51. At the
interesting.
At the what do you call it? The Invitational up in Brandon just a week ago.
Invitational. That's the Tri-County Invitational.
Olivia Ames starting to stretch it out a little bit. Abby Locke getting boxed in by some of these slower paced runners.
I think Locke can catch the Adams. I think he can catch Sun when you look at it. I think she can catch her. I mean,
well, there's the 800.
Make her do all the work, and then he can get her at the end.
Locke is on a 6-minute mile pace. And Olivia Ames is under that. She's looking to drop time below that 12-minute mark.
If you can get that below the 12-minute mark, you are state-bound, but you got to do it at the regional. You know, that's what I don't like about it.
But this regional is so stacked with talent. You got them running 1050s and stuff for the ladies.
There's a ton of talent over going to likely be at Rochester. When you look at teams like Grand Blanc, who is going to be very good in the boys, I was surprised they were a girls' threat last year. Now, I didn't like what I think it was either Nolan or Mulcahy. They looked back. You can't do that. I mean, that's dangerous.
You don't want to do it, but you also make sure you know where everybody's at. So
obviously,
you got Nolan Mulcahy, and I'm assuming that is Collins for Adams.
But back to what I was saying, the regional though.
Yeah.
You got a loaded field when you look at teams like when you look at go to the boys' side first. You got Oxford is a dangerous team. You look at Romeo. We know what they can do.
Yeah.
We know that we know what Lake Orion can do. We know what Grand Blanc, I think, obviously has to be the favorite heading into that regional in the boys' side of things. In the girls' side,
Grand Blanc was tough even on the girls' side last year, too.
But in the girls' side, you got to obviously go with Lake Orion, but you still got to keep an eye on Stony Creek.
423 Ames rolling through her split, followed by Solden and Locke.
As we mentioned the regional, Ian. And the regional on the girls' side, of course, Lake Orion has to be the favorite, but you also got to keep an eye on teams like Grand Blanc,
Yeah,
Stony
absolutely,
Creek,
absolutely.
Bloomfield Hills. Of course, we know what Olivia Lopez, what she can do.
All-around athlete,
Yep. And then you look at, and then, of course, you have Waterford Mott there. Of course, we know their distance is very good.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, what thankfully what also helps is that, you look at Troy. Troy won't be there. They're a different regional.
They are? Yes.
Yeah, they're in a different regional.
Thank goodness. Birmingham C home.
Yep.
So here we had Nolan and Mulcahy stretching it out. Adams knowing that he's got to cut that gap slightly and using a lot of energy to do so.
Well, it looks like Lake Orion just took third back.
They did. And let's take a look at the ladies over here. This is going to be hard for the camera operators. You might need to have everybody aim in different ways because you got girls and guys going at the same time.
Olivia Ames looks comfortable right now.
Well, Ames looks really good. Abby Locke trying to keep
Abby Locke's going to have to
Solden
be Abby Locke's going to have to
range.
be key. If she can keep Solden in range, make Solden do all the work, you know what I mean? Then you can get her at the end, I think Abby Locke's in a really, really nice position right now.
Well, here's the first mile coming up here for the ladies. And Ames is right on pace for what she did before.
Solden looked back. It was not good. It's not good.
550, about 5:55 mile for Olivia Ames for her first half of this race. 6:03, 5.6, 6:06 mile for the other pack runners there for Locke and Solden.
I'll be honest with you. Last time when Solden went down there, she looked back. I did not like the fact that she looked back, toward Locke. I mean, that's a dangerous stride when you look at it. When you look back, it's always dangerous.
Yep. And here comes, you can see Nolan and Mulcahy cruising by. And we got a race here between using a lot of energy to keep that third spot early in the race.
Why? You're wasting a lot more energy if you're basically trying to keep the best runner there. Why? You don't need to use that energy. Let them do all the work.
Ames doing a nice job approaching that fourth turn. Still in a solid lead.
I like what Abby Locke's doing. I really like what she's doing right now. Of course, keeping pace there. I'm curious to see how she does at the end, though. Very curious.
Yeah, she's going to have to keep it close, especially
keep it close. Yeah, keep it close. Make sure you don't lose ground. If she loses ground, then she loses that chance for second place. So it looks like Olivia Ames right now is firmly in control right now for Lake Orion.
And the 5th and 6th laps are always the most difficult to try to keep your designated pace if you have a specific time you want to go after.
And it looks like here comes on that stretch, you still have Mulcahy and Nolan right now, very comfortably right now. I don't know why both of them were looking back, but
they're shutting it down. They're not going full out. We know that just watching it. They're not. They're just looking to finish, get your 1-2, and get out of Dodge.
It looks like it's going to be that third place battle. That's what they're looking at. And it looks like Adams is on the verge of taking third place here.
Ames is still looking strong out there in the back stretch. Abby Locke losing some ground to Solden here on the 5th.
I think Locke's trying to gain some ground back when you look at it.
Running into that headwind.
Yeah, you're running into that headwind that's very difficult.
It's blowing.
it is blown, especially from the north. You know, when you're running north, it's always difficult because you have that tough north wind. You know, it's very difficult.
Okay, well, they're still rolling along. Here comes Ames. She hasn't stretched out a lead at all. She's kind of maintained. She had
Ames is keeping it comfortable right now, but
Yep.
I think Abby Locke's starting to gain a little confidence back. She's letting Solden do all the work. You know, when you look at it, she's letting her do all the work.
Well, I know Ames and Locke were talking before the race saying, let's try to stick together, and Ames has other plans. She has a certain pace she wants to go, and Abby Locke still hanging with Adams there for the third slot.
Right now, you know what I mean?
Steady as she goes.
The key's going to be that final kick. I mean,
here comes the leaders for the guys, lapping their own teammate here. It's Andrew Nolan still in the lead. Ryan Mulcahy in second slot. And it's still a battle for third place over here.
it looks like they're at their I heard a bell.
Was that the bell lap for Mulcahy and Nolan?
Heard the bell lap, yep.
Or it could be just the cheering section. I think there's one more. Yes, one more for the leaders.
Then it's going to come down the third, it looks like.
Let's see. Let's check in with Ames.
Ames right now is
running.
comfortable,
She's
but
at the 200-meter mark.
But look at that battle for second and third. I think if Locke can keep close, I think she can take second against Solden.
They still have one more lap to go, so
if she can keep close.
Locke's got to keep it close.
I think she can do it, but we'll see.
Sitting at 10, 11, 10, 12 so far here. And to put it in perspective, the guys were running sub-10-minute 3,200 meters not too long ago here for Lake Orion, so they've shut it down, definitely.
Yeah, I mean.
Olivia Ames coming up for her bell lap here.
Then that battle for second and third is going to come down.
These guys are going to come in shoulder to shoulder.
Yep.
Or is Mulcahy going to kick in and take them? Oh, they're goofing around now. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? I think it was Ryan Mulcahy by a whisker.
You know, that's very interesting. It's kind of like a race within the race, you know, with Mulcahy.
Well, two friends.
It's kind of race of a race.
And Adams pulls in third.
I wonder how Coach Ford feels when those two run against each other.
Sometimes you got to have fun. Track's supposed to be fun, and the race was pretty much in hand. But we do have a race here between second and third
in the girls.
And Abby Locke's getting boxed out by the traffic. And it looks like Rochester Adams is using that to their advantage. Locke had to go around the slow traffic. She's got to have some sort of kick to catch up right here.
Got to have a kick, and I think that's going to have to be in the final.
Well, knowing Abby, full disclosure, it's my daughter. For those of you watching at home, she has a little kick that she does here at the 200-meter mark. We'll see what she has left. She closed the gap.
I think she's got to do it at the. She's got to do it at the. I think the 100-meter.
We'll see what she has. Oh, there goes Adams. Can she keep with them?
There goes Solon.
Looks like Adams is pulling away. Very strong kick here. Here comes Olivia Ames coming in for the W. She's 11:58. She will not break 12 minutes again today. I know she's going to be kind of bummed out for that. Abby Locke looks like she's going to take the third spot for the Dragons as Adams has a big kick coming here in the home stretch. I believe so. We're guessing. Or Son or Frank.
But, 6'3", it's kind of like where Lake Orion, 6'3" is usually pretty good, you know what I mean? If I'm Coach Dave Hudson, if I'm Keith, I'm comfortable with that first and third spot right now.
Absolutely.
And then the boys, of course, don't know why Mulcahy and Nolan basically in the final 30 meters, basically a
boxing match.
Kind of like that.
They were just goofing around. So the rest of the field here finishing off, it is Olivia Ames takes the W for the Dragons, and on the men's side, they go 1-2, Mulcahy and Andrew Nolan. All right, we're going to step away. We'll be back with the 4x400 relay, the finale here at Lake Orion High School. Stay tuned. This is ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports.
My name is Caitlin. I'm 6 years old. I like to go to the beach with my cousins. When I was a baby, I was very sick. And then I got a liver transplant from an organ donor. He saved my life.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
And we're back. Second to last event, right? The 4x4.
4x4.
The guys are first.
Yep,
You're
and
watching
it's actually the last event of
the last event. Watching this OAA dual meet here at Lake Orion High School. I'm Ian Luck with Sammy Taramina in the booth. And looking at the 4x4 results from the Oxford Invitational, kind of using that as our gauge because both teams competed.
Both teams were there, yes, and I think a lot of both teams will be at a lot of the invitationals. I think I've looked at the charts. It looks like they're going to be simultaneously both at the same time.
Yep, okay. And for Rochester Adams, they had a nice performance at the Oxford Invite, coming in runner-up behind Oak Park, but by
we know
7
about
seconds.
Oak Park.
We do.
We know about them.
But they also finished just 1 second ahead of Lake Orion.
Yes.
So if we're looking at, let's take a peek at the competitors here. Urbano, Jackson, Jenkins, and Raymond. Is that the same group? It is. Ben Urbano, Nico Jackson, Christian Jenkins,
and Parker
Raymond.
We know about Raymond. What he did in the 800 was just insane.
Yeah, he did good.
You know, he can run a 400 to give you for sure.
And I'm looking at the guys, so it's the same. Thomas Mormon, Drew Geim, Nolan Maupin, and
Sammy Knight. So this would be a good one in the boys. I can see it.
So they're just 1 second off from one another, and it looks like they're not running 6 relays unless they are in multiple heats. So this is the varsity, so stand by on the clock. And waiting for the arm to go up. It does. And we're underway.
You know, it's going to be an interesting race, especially with what happened at Oxford between Adams and Lake Orion. You're right, 1 second separated both teams, so this will be a good one.
Who is the lead off for the Dragons? Trying to see.
I don't think it's Knight, but he's off to a torrid start though.
Looking pretty good.
He's off to it.
So let's see. Here's the this is a 400, so we got to see what's going on here. Inside lane number 2 are the Dragons. Lane 3.
They're off to a torrid start though.
Looking pretty good, though, on here in lane, what is that, lane 6?
Lane 5.
Or lane 5.
Lane 5.
Huge lead.
Good start for Lake Orion.
You know what, I have a feeling Adams scratched them unless their leadoff runner is just binding up. You know, they may have adjusted things if this meet got out of hand. They might have just swapped out some
They might
runners.
have,
we'll
I
see.
think. They might have. I'm not sure.
Dragons still 1-2, and I don't know if that's, as the names I've listed off, I don't know if I see the same guys running. I don't.
You don't.
So I think there was some shuffling, so that might mean that
probably means the meet is pretty much wrapped up.
Yep.
You know, it's looking like, and it's Lake Orion right now.
Which is rare.
Which is rare. I
and
agree.
these guys are battling it out. So we have no names. We don't know who it is. I think I recognize the guy in second place because of some middle school running, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but still, I think you got to give all 3 middle school coaches credit, though, you know, for running great 4x4 programs, especially at Oakview with Carl Zukowski.
And here's the
Jim
exchange.
McCall, Matt Walden, and
third exchange.
Megan Daly at Scritz.
Absolutely. Third exchange for the Dragons. Huge lead out front. Adams obviously not running their Uber A today. Probably saving it for their invitationals coming up on the weekend. As that looks like Drew Geim there on the back stretch in the lead for Lake Orion.
Lake Orion comfortably right now. You know,
Absolutely.
this is surprising to me.
And it looks like Maupin. Is he the anchor there, Sam? Take a peek.
It looks like he is the anchor. Yes, that is Nolan Maupin.
So they mixed it up a little bit.
They mixed it up a little bit.
Give some guys experience.
Yeah, gives them some experience going in later in the meet. You know, looking at a guy like Nolan Maupin.
2:37 so far as Geim comes down the the home stretch here, looking in fine form, strong. Has a nice senior season going on.
Oh, he's having a really nice senior year. And there's Adams right there at third. No, there's Adams right there at third, basically. And then
well, we named off all the names for Adams, and none of them are running.
Well, it looks like Lake Orion just passed Adams' third 4x14 just passed Adams' second. Could make a run at him.
Good exchange here for Lake Orion's
Nolan Maupin right now, sitting
relay.
comfortably.
Absolutely.
Lake Orion's Nolan Maupin running comfortably right now.
Yeah, I see Stan Ford stacking these as an experience for a lot of these other guys to mix them up. The headwind is, or the backstretch headwind is still as strong as ever.
Yep, and Nolan Maupin is gone.
And here is the final finish here for Lake Orion, taking the relay 4x4.
Nice stride by Maupin.
Absolutely.
Nice stride by Maupin.
And they take it.
This could be interesting. Here comes Adams' A team.
I don't know. That's a bit too much. 60 meters, 40-meter lead. Dragons go 1-2. Points are only awarded to first place.
First place, 5-0 in the relays.
So seeing that's a good sign for the Dragons.
I forgot to mention that earlier. I mean, in the relays, it's 5-0 when it comes to the relays. You know, so I forgot to mention that.
All right, 3:45.95 is listed. The Dragons, 3:31 when they were really going after it at the Oxford Invitational. Here come the final competitors here in this 4x4 finale, getting a big cheer from their teammates as they cross the finish line. Wrapping this one up for the guys' meet. And that's it. Dragons take first in the 4x4. We'll step away. We'll be back for the ladies' finale right after this short timeout. This is ONTV. And we're back after multiple heats of the 4x4, which we were not expecting.
Right.
But, it's good to get the kids out there, get them running, get some experience.
It's good to get some running experience. It's going to really help them in the long term, especially those juniors, sophomores, and freshmen especially.
All right, let's take a peek. Lake Orion throwing out Josie Arnold, Sierra Nolan, Renita Smith, and Grace Winkler. So they're actually putting a pretty strong team out there, but I see Bohannon.
Have you noticed you got one senior, one junior, one sophomore, one freshman on that relay?
Who else is out here? Josie, yep, I see the Sherman. They may have mixed them up because I see Sherman and Bohannon in the same line. We'll see what happens.
Well, it'd be very interesting to see what happens. I think this may be an experiment for Coach Dave Hudson and Coach Keys. I think they're going to experiment with this a little bit.
Could be. It looks like they're running 4 Lake Orion women, and then it looks like Adams is running their full strength
Williams,
on
Abdella,
their
Henry,
4x4.
and Fetterman.
Well, that's 4x1.
Oh, 4x.
Oops, I got the wrong page.
4x4. Right down.
It blew off. That wind.
Off, yes.
Oh,
the wind is killing us today.
Ward, Josun, Desi, and Mack. 4x4, right? Those are the same ones we saw earlier.
Yes, the same ones we saw earlier. I agree.
And we know they're formidable.
And I think they got a couple more relays when you look at it.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, partial. 1, 2, 3,
4.
4 for sure.
4 for sure.
4x4. Let's dig it up for the Oxford. Again, we don't know who's running what. 4x4 over at the Oxford Invitational. Adams takes third at 4:14.99.
That was with their main lineup.
And the same one's running right now, correct?
Yep. And then you have Lake Orion. It took a fourth place with Melissa Simons, Josie Arnold, Sierra Nolan.
Grace Winkler's the only change, so it's not Simons running on the varsity leg of this one. So
I think it's kind of a mix that would.
Ready?
I think it's that mix. That what they're doing. I think.
Yeah, and how close was that? So Rochester Adams 4 seconds ahead of Lake Orion's A with Simons. Josie's looking for sweet redemption here, going out strong. Josie Arnold for Lake Orion.
Adams is right there.
They are.
I mean, this is going to be an interesting race.
Well, we didn't see Josie in the 800, do we?
No, we did not.
So I think she's taking it out strong. 30 seconds so far.
So she must be she's probably rested right now.
See if she can hold up here. That wind and the bite out there, the cold is pretty brutal.
But Adams, let's not forget, this is the same team that ran really well at the Oxford Invitational. That is
Absolutely.
Ward right now running, yeah.
Yep, Ward leading off. Long strides, keeping pace with Josie. She's going to... Nolan is next for the Lake Orion A. Josie's still going. Ward's closing the gap. Is Ward I remember Ward from last year. Nolan, a tough handoff for Adams late in the zone. But we'll see how Nolan handles it. She handled herself pretty well earlier.
She did.
And she was trying to close the gap, but this number 2,
is
Jansen, she is on fire and closed that gap Lake Orion had at the opening leg just like that. It takes the lead.
Jansen, of course, ran, I think, the 400. She ran it, and it looks like here comes Adams' second team coming in, too. So this is going to be, this could be really interesting. I think not having Melissa Simons it could hurt this team, but I'm not sure. But we'll see.
Well, they set these lineups, well before today. I know Coach Keith sent those to me this morning about 9:30 a.m., and I appreciate that.
And it's
Adams in the lead slightly. Nolan kicking it in. She's got a kick.
Nolan's trying to get the lead.
This could be a level handoff here right at the handoff.
It's leveled right now.
Ooh, dead handoff. There's a dead heat handoff. Let's see how the Dragons do. Inside lane to Rochester Adams.
Desi's running for Adams.
Desi and Renita Smith for Lake Orion. And she's going to settle in right behind her and see if she can hang on. I'm not sure how Grace Winkler is on the kick for anchor here, listed as a freshman.
That's what
Renita
gets me a little
Smith,
nervous.
the sophomore,
That's what
looking
gets me a little
strong.
nervous, you know what I mean? Especially when you're running.
But look at Smith for Lake Orion
Smith's
doing a nice
keeping
job.
pace, but I'm curious to see how he does that kick. I'm very curious to see how he does that kick, especially in the final 100 meters.
Desi pulling away slightly, but it looks like Smith is closing slightly again, using the word slightly.
Slightly, but
oh, Smith hit a wall here at the 100 meters.
Desi's getting that kick, as mentioned. Here comes Desi. Desi now, right now, maybe up, maybe
All right, here we go. Mac and Grace Winkler.
Mac's a very good 400 runner.
Yes, Mac's off, and Grace Winkler's got the anchor, and boy, what a lead just like that for Adams.
Yep, as mentioned, of course.
4 quick steps in there out front.
Yep, great handoff by Adams. That's why they're right now.
Again, they were third at the.
There's a reason why they were third.
Right,
now
they were
I'm a little
third.
surprised at why Lake Orion took Simons out after having a great run at Oxford. But that's not for me to decide.
Rochester Adams, nice run. They had a 4-second lead over the Dragons just a week ago to take third at the Oxford Invitational, and they're showing why. They're the class tonight in the 4x4, taking the W.
Yeah, they're going to take W, but Lake Orion better be careful. Here comes Adams.
Well, Grace Winkler getting a chance to run the anchor on this this varsity 4x4, and she's holding her own. She's kicking it in. Nicely done. Adams takes it at 4:14 to 2.
You know what the difference there was the difference there in that race was Mac. Of course, Gabrielle Mack, she ended up, that kick at the end of the day ended up being the big difference maker. As he said, that handoff was great for Rochester Adams, and that ended up being the difference maker in that meet. So in that event. So congratulations to Eric Lohr's 4x4 relay team for the girls.
Little coughing fit.
I can see that.
Little cold air.
You all right?
I don't know yet.
You all right?
Trying to get out of here without sounding too crazy and coughing into that mic. I think that's it for the ladies. I don't see a second heat coming. So, yeah, I believe that's it. And so third place comes in 4:23.49. Again, relays only score first place.
Yep, relays do only score first place.
Oh, it looks like they are running them. They just waved them out.
There's another heat. There's another heat.
Yeah, and to the consternation of some of the athletes who are participating. But again, like we said, experience is never a bad thing.
No, and I think that was the reason why Adams did win that 4x4 event, because of that experience that they had. I mean, that ended up being a huge difference in that meet. But you got to give Adams some credit.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you come out to compete, and it's easy to say, hey, maybe we're down in this meet, but you still compete as hard as you possibly can.
You're looking to get yourself ready for regional. You're looking to get yourself ready for leagues or any invitationals. You're looking to get yourself, especially in that regional meet where it's all or nothing when you look at it. Of course, both these teams are going to be at Rochester. It's going to be a very tough meet, as we mentioned earlier.
But I'm looking forward to the OAA Conference Championship.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great meet. That's up at, like you mentioned earlier, that's up at Oxford. So
the league meet, you mean?
Yeah, the league meet, yeah. The OAA Championship.
And I said earlier, if the boys, it's going to come down, I think it's going to be Lake Orion and Oxford.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is
and that was a close meet.
And that was a close meet, but I think it's going to be Lake Orion and Oxford because Oxford's got the distance this year in the boys' side of things. And then the girl, and then of course, but Lake Orion, if they can use their balance, They got to find a way to neutralize Oxford in the field events, especially if they can do that. Then I can see Lake Orion possibly repeating as league champions. I mean, they've already clinched the first part of the league, which is the dual meet season.
Yep.
And then the girls' side of things, I don't think anybody's touching Lake Orion. Maybe Clarkson, but I'm just
on the girls' side.
On the girls' side, yeah. I don't think anybody's touching Lake Orion. I mean,
and I know Clarkson's going to be looking for
some revenge, but there's a big but here. Is I'm very concerned with the Clarkson sprinting. I mean, especially when you look at what, especially with their big three of Ferguson's, Patria,
Dalrymple,
Dalrymple, you're going to have to separate. You're going to have to put one of them. You're going to have to separate those four.
Which
they tried to do, they couldn't do it.
Yeah, they did that against Lake Orion, and ultimately
it was
close, but they just didn't have the horses.
And they got to find that true sprinter, that could do some damage.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why I'm saying Lake Orion's got to be the favorite heading into the
league meet.
In the league meet,
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up here. We have just some extra heats rolling here for the 4x4, but the varsity races have been run. So we'll take a quick break, Sam, okay? Then we'll be back with the final score right after this. Sammy, I'm going to say goodbye to you now. Thanks for coming in, buddy. And I'll see you around the ONTV studios.
Especially my podcast.
Absolutely. I drive the bus for his podcast and the board every week, and it's a good time. But that's a good segue. If you're interested in making your own podcast or being a part of Orion Neighborhood Television, give us a call at 248-393-1060 or visit us online at www.orionontv.org and learn what ONTV is all about, your community television station, your media access center. So that's what we do here. Volunteers on crew. I want to thank all the guys for helping out from Mr. Smith's class at Lake Orion High School. And especially Jack up here in the booth running the clock for us. Did a great job. And Alex and Lauren on cameras. And Alex down on the wireless. So we're going to wrap it up here. Sammy again.
Thank you real much.
Thanks, buddy. And we'll take a quick break. I'll have the final score after this timeout. You're watching ONTV's coverage of Dragon Sports. And we're back here at Dragon Stadium, just wrapping up this dual meet between the Lake Orion Dragons and Rochester Adams. And it was an interesting meet. We had some highs, some good performances, highs and lows from both teams. But something we need to make mention of before we get to the final scores is we were handed a sheet of paper up here that gave us the results of the field events. And boy, did Lake Orion men and women come through big in this dual meet. The men swept the high jump and the long jump. And the women swept every field event, finishing 1, 2, and 3. So all top 3 places claimed by the Lady Dragons, and that is just a heap of points. I don't think I've ever seen that happen during one of our telecasts or in person for that matter over the last couple of years. So an impressive feat for the Lady Dragons to win every field event this evening. But both teams showcased their strength in the distance running. Lake Orion men took first and second in the 1,600 and the 3,200 meter run. And the women were first in the 1,600 meter and finished 1-2 in the 3,200 meter run. Both the men and women Dragons, they finished first and second in all 4 hurdling events, which is very interesting. Maddie Eaton for the women took first in all 3 of her events as we'll call it the highlight and the athlete of the meet. And Melissa Simons was second in the 300-meter hurdles, but also had a great performance today. The men swept the 400-meter run, all running season or personal best times. Good for them. And Adams showed a lot of strength in the middle distance races, grabbing first in both the men's and women's 800-meter run. And just the crazy run of the night, we'll go with the 100-meter dash for the men, as Adams would take first and second, with Lake Orion finishing 3rd through 6th. But the whole field from 1st through 6th were only separated by 0.6 of a second. Everyone ran a season or personal best in that event. So just a crazy field, just matched perfectly for this evening. And as you can see, just 0.6 of a second separated the entire field in that 100-meter dash. And the final scores here, both the Dragon men and women take down Rochester Adams. The men's final score, 88-40, while the women's final score is 84-44. Both Dragon men and women's track team are undefeated in dual meet action and look to continue that streak on the road. Their last dual meet will be held at Rochester on Monday, May 7th, a makeup for a icy snow day where the meet was canceled due to the crazy weather we've been having this April. And that will be the last dual meet of the 2018 season. And both teams will be looking ahead to the OAA championships, where both men and women's track team here at Lake Orion have a chance to repeat as OAA Red champions. So that's something to look forward to. ONTV cameras will be out and about all season, the remainder of the season here for the track squads, getting highlights and reporting on the results. And you can see those results on the Lake Orion Sports Update here on Orion Neighborhood Television, Comcast Channel 10 and AT&T Uverse Channel 99. Visit our website at orionontv.org for our programming schedule and the replay times of all of our sporting events from the spring season. And if you want a DVD copy, give us a call too. We have DVD copies for $10. All these games and programs are just $10 each. 248-393-1060. That wraps our broadcast tonight. I want to once again thank all of our crew for bringing all the great images and running our cameras for us. Again, a 100% volunteer crew from Lake Orion High School. I'm your announcer, Ian Locke, and we'll see you here on ONTV for more sports coverage as the spring season rolls along. That's it from Dragon Stadium. We'll see you next time.